Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Catching Zeez podcast. Today, it is episode 14. That number keeps on going up. Today, I have two special guests joining me back once again. Say hello to Emmy and RaceCar627.
Hey, guys.
Guys, I have something to apologize about. There's been 2 episodes so far since I made my epic announcement to have everyone go on to reddit.com and post funny things, and both Emmy and Zeez have not brought up any of the posts that you guys have
We were waiting for you, bro.
Why me? It's for every episode, man. Every episode you should be...
Every single one?
Yes.
All right,
it's the first thing. I don't care if you have something important you need to tell people. Reddit comes
Yeah,
first.
we should have done that.
First and always,
Okay.
okay?
Whatever, man. Fine, this isn't my show anymore, okay.
Well, I mean, I feel like the person that really should be apologizing is the diminutive beginner, because he hasn't been here in forever.
The nano novice? Yeah, where is he ever?
Yeah, the nano novice.
Do you know how many apology videos he owes me for not uploading on Sunday for
He
how many
actually
years
needs to make
now?
70 apology videos.
That's all he can do now. He just has to make only apology videos.
He has 70 apology videos.
Apology to the channel.
He literally has 70 apology videos in debt after he makes it. He can finally start making real content. He even has to make like 4 apology videos for all the apology videos he's made.
He'll never make another video again. That's all he can do. He can just make apology videos.
Honestly, that'd be such a freaking awesome channel to watch. It'd be so funny. Just to keep apologizing for literally everything.
My apology debt.
Quilt Blanket apologizes forever.
You want to take us off on our reddit.com adventure?
Yes, so we're going to go past my post, which was Catching Zeez episode 11 hype. Further up from that, we got people who actually are viewers here who actually did wondrously post on here. So the only person who immediately did was a user called u/iteali. Zeez, I think you know this person, right?
Yes, Teal. They go by Teal. They comment on the streams and channels sometimes.
All right. Well, they so generously added amazing content called post called Mario, and then we got why am I blanking on his name?
Crisp Rat.
Thank you, Chris Pratt, official voice of Mario forever. Now that Charles Martinet is retiring, right?
I mean, it's not him, but yeah.
You can never replace Charles Martinet in our hearts.
Martinet, but whatever.
Never.
Okay, semantics. Okay. So yeah, this is funny because he's gonna be Mario forever. Okay, cool. Next post. All right, we got Dulce Dragoness 13, and this
Dragonessa.
It's actually pronounced Dulce, is what I've learned recently.
Okay,
it's Dulce Dragonessa.
Dole T or whatever.
What? Yo, disrespect on the artist.
Dole Dragon, literally like a
Dole
boy dragon.
I'm so sorry, Dulce.
Dole Dragon said,
"We need to cancel RaceCar now."
I made this account specific for Reddit. I made this account for this specific Reddit. Oh yeah.
Why?
And it's got 12 comments as the reply. So, moving on to Smart Platypus. So, Perry very generously put, Chill Bill.
Oh my gosh. I hate this stupid image. It's an inside joke on the stupid server. PJ, I know you're listening. If you're freaking listening right now, stop. It's not funny. It's literally not funny.
PJ, I don't even know anything about the server.
All right, please elaborate here.
So there's this guy. He's a mod in the server. His name is PJ, and he won't stop posting this ugly freaking Skylanders enemy named Chill Bill. And he literally commented on every single Zeez VS The PNGtuber video, Chill Bill. Under this video, I guarantee, if you scroll down in the comments right now, because he's pretty active, he's going to comment immediately. I guarantee if you look at the bottom, you scroll down in the comments, you're going to see Chill Bill down in the comments. I guarantee it. Without a doubt, it's going to be down there. So dumb.
Well,
just Chill Bill
I really
endlessly.
hope to see this. So thank you for contributing.
I saw it in the last
looks like
one,
a really
actually.
awesome guy. Please keep spamming it. You have my full support.
No, you don't need to do that.
Well, You have my full support, and I have supreme authority, so it's fine. Okay.
Alright, bro.
According Acturia224 put...
Actuary.
Shush up! I can't read. What would evil flat pack be called? Don't say what we all think it is.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'd put pack flap.
Honestly, I don't know what they mean by this either. To be honest, I'm the creator of the flatback meme, and I don't know what it would be either.
It's probably pack flap. That would be my guess.
I don't know. I'm just gonna guess it's gonna be evil bird that kill with peck. I don't know, bro. I don't even know, bro.
All right, this person followed up with an epic poll here. Says, should we go to war with PNGtuber Voyager Arts YT? I put yes, and there was 5 people who voted, so 3 yes, 2 no. If we go to war, Zeez, I'm gonna be on Voyager side. I'm sorry.
Honestly, I will too. I'm joining Voyager Arts YT side. I'm not joining the Z side. I'm abandoning those people, bro.
Would you want to be on the cringe liberal side or the based Voyager Arts YT side?
The true American patriot side.
Yeah, the true American patriot. Liberty, guns, beer, and Trump side.
Oh, please subscribe to
Who
Voyager
wouldn't want
bro.
to be that? True American patriot. Amazing. I'm so glad, Zeez. Thank you for your service to this country.
Zeez, you should be thanking Voyager Arts YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. What do I do? I'm not the true American
first
patriot.
Voyager army will bring peace to the land.
I'm not a 6'5" Giga Chad.
Now we have another post, Zeez VS The PNGtuber's first video, which is when you did well, that's not your first video on that channel. There was so much content you deleted backlog, right? Or unlisted.
Yep.
But that was this is the one where you started talking about Darcy, right?
Yeah, it was then I took the channel in a new direction.
Yeah, I remember
which was
when
actually
you made
like
that video.
Oh, I remember that.
It was a risky play, but it actually pulled out. It actually
worked out.
It really did, yeah. Or else I wouldn't be doing YouTube full time right now.
For some context there, like for the longest time, Zeez's content revolved so much around gaming that and it was games like I never played. I'm not a huge gamer, to be honest with y'all. Surprising. And so this was something I really like cartoons and animation. So when he made this video, I was really hyped. I never even heard of Amphibia at that moment because I did not follow cartoons that much. I've always been way more of an anime guy. And when he started actually making the Amphibia and Owl House reactions, that's what made me binge watch both those series so I could watch your videos as they went on.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about that just while they were going on. It was a fun time, honestly.
I actually think those videos, even though I never watched any of them, they influenced me to actually watch Amphibia in the Owl House. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah, they did. I wanted to know what was making first off your videos so popular, and I feel like you had I listened to your videos and it sounded like you had a lot of interesting things to say. I'm like, well, you know what? I really enjoyed Steven Universe and other narrative-based shows like Infinity Train and stuff. So I was like, okay, sure. I'm gonna go and watch another kind of sort of narrative-based cartoon because I feel aside from adult cartoons, I wasn't as caught up with more family-friendly stuff or stuff that isn't traditionally seen as I don't know adult animation, right?
Right,
I don't know.
Right.
One of them I still really really need to watch is Gravity Falls. Everyone bashes on me.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
So that's probably my next cartoon I'd really want to watch is Gravity Falls. Same with the original Adventure Time, especially with Fiona and Cake now airing, right?
Yeah, that's getting a lot more traction. I've actually never really seen Adventure Time, to be honest with you. I never could really watch it that much. The vibe of that show always kind of made me uncomfortable. I don't know why.
Uncomfortable?
Yeah, I don't know. It just never really clicked with me as a kid. It kind of just made me feel really uncomfortable while watching it.
It's interesting.
It's weird, yeah. You'd think I'd like it because it's a guy with a sword running around going on adventures. But I don't know. The show always just kind of creeped me out. I never really liked any of the characters besides Ice King. I don't know.
Right. No, I get that. And I think that I'm going to look up stuff like how to watch. I don't really know how much...
There's a lot of seasons, too. I think there's 7 seasons of Adventure Time, too.
Yeah, it's really freaking long. So I almost want to skip maybe not as important episodes. Like when I watched through Amphibia, man, especially Amphibia, Owl House wasn't as bad, but especially Amphibia, there was a lot of episodes I feel like I could have just skipped. To be honest with you.
But I think Amphibia at least is one of those. At least to me, it feels like a show that you shouldn't skip through some of those episodes, just because I feel like that kind of like slice of life episodic type things actually adds more to the story and like personal growth of the characters.
I get that a little bit.
I'm kind of with Zeez on that.
I kind of get that a little bit.
There are some that I think that are like skippable.
I really feel like you could
like Spider Sprig is pointless. The episode where
best episode.
Yeah, there's like okay, honestly, I think there's like probably like 6 episodes you could like just free and skip. I think most other ones I'd rather have there. I'd say like 4, 6 around there. Otherwise, just watch every single episode.
Fair enough. Next post from the accordion. Me when Zeez VS 2 hits 100,000 subscribers.
And it's literally voiceover Pete saying, now this is epic.
Okay.
He's a YouTuber / Fiverr guy who was popular like a few years ago.
All right. And then we have 2 pinned posts. It's the one that you created. And then this is one by Nightlight. And it said, creative sub here needs some advice. And it's like talking about like what direction that they want to take the sub. And I actually do have some advice here. So first and foremost, like in terms of like actual moderation, there should be like just general memes. It doesn't even have to be related to anything to your content or your server or anything.
Honestly, yeah.
The only thing like that would be considered off topic is like if someone like were to bring up like a serious thing, like discussion of maybe another YouTube channel, like a Wendover Productions video, like I don't know why it's happening to the Zeez VS 2 subreddit, right? Unless we're talking about it a lot. I don't know. Just think, or like if people try to bring up like politics, like probably would be kind of cringe.
Yeah, obviously that's cringe. Yeah, that's cringe.
Yeah, so
unless you're a true mega patriot, obviously.
Unless you're true, yeah. Unless we're talking about the base politics of Voyager Arts YT, but. I mean, I don't think you guys have any other huge comments probably on how you should treat the subreddit.
Nah, I think like just whatever happens there, just like post whatever you want. Just be like, obviously civil about it. And the more traction it gets, the more we'll check it out on the podcast and take a look at it. And even if it gets like more traction, I thought about hosting my own that would just be like regular. It's like r/ZeezVobG, but I don't know if I.
No, that's another thing I was saying. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was one of the other pieces of advice, and thank you for saying that. If you could change the name of it to be Zeez VobG, just regular instead of 2, because then that fits like the branding of all of your channels.
Yeah, not just the second channel. But obviously, most people are here for like 2 content, so.
But now everyone on the Reddit is from.
That's true. That's
3.
true. Yeah, for the 3rd channel. So, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. If I can become like a mod, that'd also be helpful too. On my
Make
own
me a mod
subreddit,
instead.
bro. My own subreddit, I don't even have any control over it. Oh, it's funny. Anyway, I think that's enough subreddit talk.
That is all the subreddit talk.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of other topics to talk about here. We might go a bit long on this one, but we were all prepared for this. What do we want to jump into next? What are we thinking?
Well,
we all trash the diminutive Ricky, like just for a few seconds.
Okay. So
here, you go first. You go first, Emmy.
Freaking small, am I right, bros?
Yeah, he's so diminutive. He's so minuscule, microscopic.
Listen,
the nano novice. He is undeserving of the grace of Zeez VobG.
String theory beginner, man.
Just string theory beginner. All right, that's our weekly rituals.
I wasn't done yet. I just want to make one more complaint. I want to make one more complaint to you, Quark size whatever. This is episode 14. There's a 4 in it, right? It could have been the first episode to have 4 people in it, but no, you didn't want to join. I don't even know if he's listening to this, bro. Yeah, I think he does listen to the podcast, but I don't know if he listens to all of them.
He knew when I made fun of his name for the first time.
Fan.
Well, there's our weekly making fun of him. There's our weekly making fun of him.
That's our weekly teasing.
All right, actually, something I think we should jump into, I think, is Emmy's topics, because those were like reserved from last week, right?
That's right.
Yes, they were. But I don't know. Do you want to get to mine or no?
I would like to, because we missed out on them last week.
I like both of them.
Okay. We can talk about the first one, which is a bit more of a general topic. So the first topic is meeting people in life as an adult. So this is actually something that I wanted to talk about last week, because it was something that I've been trying to do like more often in my own life. Because like when you're an adult and you're not like forced to be in a room with 30 people, it's actually pretty hard to meet people. And you have to like find time out of your own day to try to like just find groups that you're interested in. I don't know, it's interesting because I'm kind of like still new to the whole idea because I'm just freshly out of school and I'm still sort of in school. So I don't know. I'm interested to hear your guys' like sort of thoughts on this and like how meeting other people has been going. I've just been looking around random groups, but
this is something I think that every young adult really struggles with, and I think, you know, I personally definitely did as well. My transition,
the pandemic definitely did not help.
Well,
for sure.
Not even the pandemic. So like my transition from high school to college was rough, and I kind of went into it in a little bit of detail on my old videos a long time ago. But I definitely like was a huge loner, especially my freshman year, and I honestly don't really have any great advice. So as an adult now that is out of college and school entirely, one of the main ways that I've seen people and sort of myself and the relationships I have in my current area is through activities I'm involved in. So like related interests. So I know like Emmy, you play Magic the Gathering. That is a huge way to meet people, is to go to game shops and enjoy any sort of Magic groups they have. Those are really common social circles, and any moderate-sized city has a game shop. As for me, I've been involved in robotics for a long time, robotics education. So I know people through the team that I'm on, and then people in the area that I occasionally am kind of sort of friends with at the moment. But ultimately, even in college, I did meet a lot more people then, and they all unfortunately have like moved away, obviously, since they've got jobs, right? And even in college, when I was meeting new people, I relied really heavily on the friend groups that I formed in high school. You guys definitely know them, and who I'm more talking about ostensibly outside of just little rookie Emmy and Zeez is like, there. You know, I had a really close knit core group of friends that I formed from like really since like second grade with some of them, but they really formed into a core group all throughout high school, and we were very, very close. I mean, I did like everything with them, and they still hang out constantly to this day and talk a lot. So for me, like I found myself really hard to associate with other groups outside of them, because I felt like my image within that group was so defined, and I really enjoyed it so much, like in terms of like what people kind of thought of me, like how I joked with them, that I just struggled to find it with anyone else. And I tried to be as genuine as possible with like most people I met throughout college, but I couldn't. I don't know, like I felt like I was only like 90% there. There was really only like maybe 2 or 3 people in college, definitely 2 people who I felt like, oh, I can finally be myself around, that I like met actually. But other than that, like I felt like I always had about a slight guard put up almost at all times, and it really is ultimately my fault for not opening up. And any of you are listening to this, when you go to college, that is one of the easiest times to make friends ever, especially your freshman year, because no one has friends, and everyone's looking for friends, and there's a million clubs. But yeah, no, once you're out of college, it is really genuinely difficult. Some people, especially Emmy, you live in a large city, so it helps that, you know, if you were to go on any sort of app, or there's like meetups.com, there's like
I actually was about to mention that, because I actually ended up using that recently.
Oh, awesome!
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I live in a moderate-sized city,
not
so
intentionally.
Yeah.
I have a story about that to tell, but you can finish.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I was going to say, a lot of dating apps have like friend features. Like if you're just trying to look for a friend, like you can set up your profile to just search for people who are looking for platonic relationships. But again, that's, you know, apps are only so good, and especially if if you're male, that they're harder, even making friends. And then, so like the most successful what I've heard has been through meetups.com. But I live in like a moderate sized city, so there's very rarely any, and the ones that are kind of, I don't know, not up my alley.
Sports.
Wait, I don't know. There was like one called like the Secular Society, and it was about like they were like we're gonna meet up at like a planetarium, and I looked into like the Secular Society is about people who are, I don't know, it's like not religious but about religious topics, like just discussion.
That sounds boring.
I don't know. It sounds really.
When you said
deep.
planetarium, I got excited. I was like, ooh, we can look at stars.
How many topics can you have for such a thing? I don't know.
That just sounds boring. I'm sorry.
Oh man, I was like super into.
I would rather
like,
look at stars, bro. That sounds fun.
The whole like
planetarium
atheist thing when I was in high school. There was a lot of people who were a part of that like community. So.
To be honest, I was kind of like that when I was younger too, but I've not had much interest in that sort of thing as I've gotten older.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just kind of...
Not that I've gotten more religious as I've gotten older. I've probably as religious as I used to be, which is not at all. But...
Right.
No, but here's the funny story that I actually have to tell about my week. So I actually got to the meetup group through the game store that I typically go to. So this is what happened, all right?
I'm listening.
So I was really tired one day after work. I like was really absorbed that day, and I kind of control my own schedule. So I decided to just work a bit later since I was in the zone, and I was just working a bit later. And I was like, okay, it's a bit later. Should I still go to the game store? Because they usually begin at like 4:30, and it's already 5, so it's going to be hard to get into a game since everyone's already playing and paired up. And I was like, you know what? I already brought my cards. I might as well go try. And so I went to the game store, or I went down to the train station to go to the game store. And as I was walking out of the train, I saw a coworker of mine from the last quarter. So he was a TA, a teaching assistant, with me in one of the classes that I helped teach. And I just remember meeting him there. So I said hi to him. And I was just, and so we were apparently on the same train, but in different train cars. And so I asked him, hey, so what are you doing here? And he was just like, oh, I'm going to this writing group. And I'm like, what? I've been looking for one of those. And so I ended up just
we talked about that on the last podcast.
Yeah, so I ended up, so I was trying to get into writing more, but this is just a happy coincidence where I was going to go to the game store as I typically do. I ended up meeting a coworker of mine and then just going to this writing group that he told me about. And now, so I decided to go again. So they have meetups on Wednesdays and Saturdays. I went to the Wednesday one because that was the one that I met him at, and that's how I found out about it. But I probably will go to the Saturday ones from now on, since those are more convenient to go to. But that was pretty cool. So I guess the moral of the story is that you should always try to meet your social needs by trying to go out, even if you're a little tired, because it can lead to a positive experience, even if like a lot of the time it doesn't, because I guess like if you're never going to make yourself uncomfortable, you're never going to like get to a nice spot socially. I don't know. At least that's how I've been doing it.
No, that actually sounds like a really fun experience. Getting just like a coincidence of meeting somebody new. I'm somebody who doesn't really have that. I'm really bad about going outside, meeting new people. I don't even really know where I'd begin. I did think about taking like a class, not like an objective like school class, but maybe doing like an acting class for improv related things, or like an art related class.
That's a really neat way to meet a lot of people, because people in like those acting troupes get like really close with each other because they spend so much time together.
I figured, yeah. I just feel like a lot of acting people would be extroverted, and I'm very introverted, so I feel like that could be interesting.
They're kind of geeky, actually. You'd be surprised. Like there's like
I know everybody's different for sure.
Geeks, pretty much.
But as like I'm being a YouTuber, I guess a lot of my connections come from like being online, like meeting up with like other YouTubers, fellow creators, and doing stuff like that has been pretty fun. I feel like I haven't really got to connect with anybody like really well, but I've established like some, I guess, acquaintances, or like friends that I don't know too well, but I would call them friends, and it's been fun, stuff like that. But that's just mainly online, nothing really in person. I don't think I've made a new friend in person for a very long time, honestly.
Well, so something I've been doing recently, Z's, to try to meet new people is I've just been trying out, like, to go to different events that I see just posted around. This is obviously going to be different for you because you live in a place that's less dense, so there's not just going to be random events posted around. But you can certainly try to find them and try to, like, I don't know, just try an activity that you, like, somewhat like to see if you want to continue doing it. Like the writing thing or, like, the games thing, even though I actually didn't really meet a lot of people through the game store. I just kind of went because I thought I could, and it was a regular thing. Another thing that I'm thinking about going to is, like, there's this chess event that's held at a local bar that I'm thinking about going to, which is pretty cool. And so they have weekly chess, and I'm not that good at chess, but it seems interesting, so I might go. But just random stuff like that.
Yeah. You got to remember, if your goal for going to some of these events is to meet people, you have to be the one that kind of puts yourself out there to an extent. If you just go to an event, like a games shop, don't try to, like, make a connection with someone. Like, sometimes you got to be the person that's like, hey, do you want to add me on Discord or add me on, like, you want my phone number or my Snapchat or whatever, and then, like, ask them, hey, like, are you going to this event again? And then meet up with them a couple more times at said event, and then afterwards it's like, hey, there's, like, a concert or unrelated thing in the area if you'd like to hang out. Most of the time, in Kurtzkastat, I don't know if you guys ever saw this video, his video on loneliness.
I think
He also has another video on Friends, by the way.
I saw the thumbnail of that video, but I never watched it.
Oh my god, it is a great video. It seriously is, and it talks all about just kind of like what people aren't doing or can do. And the main point of that video is, like, through surveys, it's like finding out that nearly, like, any contact that you have in it's like, oh, I haven't reached out to this person in, like, 2 years. Like, no one ever will be annoyed by it. And there's so many, and everyone is, like, usually feels almost the same way. Like, it's very rare that, like, unless you really, like, burn the bridge with someone, it's like, it never hurts to reach out to anyone, and most people are very open to, you know, talking with you, right? So, I don't know. It just, it's cool. There was, what else? There was one more thing I wanted to say. Oh, yeah, additionally, there was 2, like, groups I was planning on joining sort of soon. So, a while ago, about a year ago, over a year ago, my mountain bike was stolen. I might have told you guys this. And,
I think it's the first time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think this is the first time.
Yeah, my mountain bike was stolen, and I actually wasn't super into the sport for like a year at that point, so I wasn't totally devastated. But then I went out to Utah, and I rode with my uncle out there when we went for a wedding about a year ago, and just fell in love with it again. I'm like, this is like the greatest thing ever. And then I'm like, oh crap, well, now I have to invest, $1,500 or whatever to get a new mountain bike.
Are they really that expensive? Wow.
Yeah, about an entry level one. That's pretty good.
I thought they'd be like 500. Jeez.
You can if a really basic entry level hardtail from a reputable manufacturer that has good build, you probably can get about for 500 ish. But for like the riding,
you don't want to skimp around too much on these, right?
What?
You don't really want to skimp around too much on these because you'll be riding them on like trails. You don't want like some crappy bike.
Yeah. Also, dear listeners, anyone that's like riding like a Schwinn or like a Walmart bike, which are fine and they're great for introducing you to cycling. They have a sticker on them too that says not for off-road use, and there's a lot of reasons behind that. They use completely like untested materials. There's very little quality control over the crank sets and stuff they have on there. They will fail. I went through multiple bikes before I ended up buying that more expensive mountain bike when I was young and got into the sport. Like, I would shred through rims and derailleurs like every week. It was almost every week. It was terrible until I got an actual solidly built bike that was, very nice. I got an incredible deal for it, man. I'm never going to get a good deal as I did for my original mountain bike. But yeah, so I want to get back into that. And my local area has a mountain bike association. And if I join that, I mean, that's just they maintain like 4 or 5 trails in the area. You have meetups where you'll do build days and stuff, and then you'll have, obviously, like, they host like races, and they do like weekly rides together, like most of them do. So like,
that's awesome.
It gives me an opportunity to get more in shape, as well as like connect with other people in my community. Additionally, I was thinking, and this is something I really need to do, I'm a pretty, as you all may know, I'm a pretty diehard roller coaster enthusiast, and I've never been. When I was in college,
No way.
I never joined a roller coaster group because I was even I was a part of a roller coaster group called Theme Park Engineering Design, and I just knew so many enthusiasts that like I would just like if I ever wanted to go on a trip, we would just talk in the chats. We had like an unofficial trips channel on Discord. And we just would like plan just regular like small little outings like all the time. But now that I'm like out of college and kind of not connected to the club anymore, I need to like find a group of people who are like just down to commit to coaster trips because I can't rely on like my regular friends who I've made them get like way more into coasters over the last like 10 years.
I feel like I'm going to get absorbed into that as well soon.
Yeah, I was trying to plan something with Emmy. And eventually Zeez, maybe. I don't know. I'm always planning my next trip.
Only a matter of time when you're around RaceCar.
Yeah, if you're with me, we're probably going to stop at a park somewhere. Like, I was just, like, camping, and on the way up, I stopped and got a credit. And then on the way down, I stopped at Michigan Adventures and rode Shivering Timbers 5 times and left. It was awesome. That was last weekend. So this weekend, I'm actually not riding any coasters, which is fun. But yeah, no, so I want to join... I want to join a group, preferably with like, you know, like kind of more adults and stuff, and just like find a group of people who are more willing to commit, preferably more Midwest based, right? That I could just like talk to more on a regular basis about roller coasters. There's a podcast I follow called the Drunk Riders Podcast, and they have a Discord and a group called the Buzz Bars. And I should just reach out to them. They like if you just reach out to them, they'll give you a link to their Discord, and then they do like tons of meetups all the time. And apparently they have a pretty active Discord server. So maybe I'll stop being introverted and actually reach out to people online who have.
I don't know. I feel like you're the most extroverted out of all of us here, RaceCar.
Oh, you give me too much credit.
I mean, you certainly come off as the most extroverted. I don't know. What do you think, Zeez?
Well, considering we're so hyper introverted, I think it's just that like if somebody's like an introvert or whatever,
like in comparison to us.
Yeah, it's comparison to somebody like me who hasn't made a new real friend. I've like somebody from real life in like 5 years.
I haven't seen the light of day in years.
I mean, I go outside like maybe 20 minutes a day. So.
Oh no, Zeez.
On average, like unless I have like a funny event going on, my outside time is like maybe 20 minutes a day. And that's just for taking a walk and enjoying the outdoors.
Yeah, so kind of this, if it wasn't for the fact if I like pre-planned things, I would never go outside. When I was, again, like freshman year, I was talking about when I had no friends and I wasn't doing anything. I mean, if it wasn't for classes, I just would camp and hole up in my room. And I would do the same thing here if I didn't have actual things to do. If I didn't like force myself to go outside, I would just turn into a hikikomori. And
Omori reference. Sorry.
No,
don't worry about it.
No. Like a NEET. I would just turn into that.
No,
and like
I know
never
what you mean, but that's
socialize
just
with anyone.
It's an Omori ending, so I just had to throw Omori in there.
Omori
in the chat, guys. A lot of my viewers like Omori because it's like that, like horror thing. Guys, Omori mentioned, guys. Viewer retention, guys. Omor. All right, continue. Sorry. Sorry, viewer retention moment. Sorry.
If we want to jump into another semi-deep topic, I have one on here. And this is about not us as individuals, but us as like a podcast of adding value. So I recently watched a video. It's a Turkey Tom video on his other channel, and it was just like complaining about how many podcasts there are out there. And ultimately, like the short answer is I don't care because it's fun to do, and it doesn't matter if we get like 10 people watching us or 100 or 1,000. Like, I think that we'd still do this. But
yeah, probably.
He
I said,
the point,
I think on the first episode that it was an excuse to talk to you guys more as well.
Yeah.
Like, I like talking with people because I don't get to obviously do it as often.
Wow,
so,
introvert,
like, again,
introvert.
Shut up. It takes one to know one.
Kind of his point was in that video is like, how many podcasts have like a general like need to exist per se? Like, how many of them add value? Like, if it was like very specific, it makes sense. Like, if you were a bunch of finance bros and you had a finance podcast and you're all like financial experts, like, okay, that would be interesting and add value, right? Or everyone is an artist, right? Like they all make claymation, right? And people who are really into claymation, like you'd follow that. But there's so many podcasts out there that it's almost oversaturated. If you go on like Spotify or SoundCloud or even YouTube,
yeah, for sure.
And you look, I mean, there's thousands of them, and a lot of them, I think that we're a little bit. I would like to give us credit and say we're slightly more interesting than maybe some podcasts out there. I've listened to some pretty dry ones.
Can you really say that though? I don't know.
No,
man.
I can't.
I don't.
Everybody thinks there's everybody. I would say everybody thinks they're better than everybody else.
No,
surely.
I actually don't think we're necessarily better than anyone else. In fact, to me, there's no real purpose aside from you having us to talk to, like, of us necessarily being on here. Although I find it fun. I follow your content a lot, so I have a lot of things to ask you about that I think your viewers might find interesting. I don't follow
Zeez's content. I just want to be here to support him.
I follow 2 and 3, and all the other ones are like the Enigma channels.
I watched some of his videos, but I'm not a Zeez fan. All right, guys, I'm going home. By the way, Zeez's fans are gonna cancel me now.
Oh my gosh.
Bye.
Zeez got canceled by someone else, and we'll talk about it later. But
oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Do you feel like this podcast is particularly like adding a value, I guess, or do you? I mean, it doesn't. Short answer, like I said, it doesn't matter. In the end of the day,
I think that's a really good question because you say that, but I've kind of been considering that with my own content as well. Like, does any of it even really have value? I don't think anything needs to have value. Like specifically on like YouTube. If you're just making it to like have fun with it, again, that's just like the simplest answer. But there's obviously like super oversaturated stuff. But I do have like a topic on here that I wanted to talking about like.
Well, actually, I have something to add about the value stuff.
All right, you go ahead, then I can kind of transition into something.
Well, yeah, but so like the whole value thing, I feel like is kind of not a great question because like it would be like saying writers should only like write if they're actually writing something that adds value to society. Like if they're just writing, then they shouldn't actually do that. But I actually there's this interesting discussion from like a writer who was like, well, there's like the writer who like, oh, I only write art because that is the only thing that adds value to society. And then there's the writers who are like, I write because it puts food on the table and I have a family I need to feed. And I feel like both of those are equally valid reasons to be a creator. Like, I feel like it's the same thing with these podcasts too. Like, I don't feel like you necessarily need to be adding value or doing anything. And frankly, I feel like the value here is like in being able to talk to us, and we're getting value out of this.
Yeah, there's a lot of simplicity to it, and this actually reminds me of a comment that is by Toaster Ant. If you're listening, I do appreciate your comments. They're an extremely nice commenter. They're always complimenting my content. But they say they put on the stream sometimes while going to sleep because I like listening to the conversation. It kind of helps them, go to sleep. It is called catching Z's after all. I mean, come on, man.
Ooh, nice, yeah.
They're always saying like they enjoyed the conversations before going to bed, and they're always like very kind about it. So it's like we provide value for that person by having like somewhat engaging discussions, even if they're not engaging to some other people. I think it just depends because what I did with the gameplay videos, even though they weren't very popular, there was still a very small amount of people that it impacted and it brought entertainment value for them. So I guess even if it's for a small amount of people, it still does matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, if something like, if you write something and it changes only one person's life and they like totally turn their life around, like how is that any different than, I feel like that's just as fine as like writing something that changes like hundreds or thousands of people's lives. Like, you still change someone's life, and that's what matters at the end of the day, right?
I suppose.
Absolutely. No, and I think maybe it's not even changing people's lives. I think, like, part of the value is the fact that, honestly, like, life's too short, and you just kind of got to do things that you find fun occasionally, right?
Exactly, bro.
Yeah.
That's like,
I mean,
like you said, short answer,
all the
it
time
doesn't
has
matter.
to
It doesn't
be...
matter if we have any value at all. I think we're having fun with it. Evident by the
there's
fact
value in that
episodes.
as it is. We don't need to be like pushing the boundaries of podcast content creation.
There are some things I'd like to add in the future, though, but that's in the future.
So we are gonna push the boundaries of podcast content creation.
No, I don't know about that. But I do have some ideas for the future.
We're going to reimagine the podcast.
But it's kind of a transition when you're talking about adding like value to specific types of content. But going into like, talking about my content, which I do almost like every podcast, I was kind of thinking just about where Zeez VS The 2 kind of started from, or at least like when it got popular, when I started talking about these like cartoons. And I feel like there's going to be another shift coming with my content, considering like all the gaming content that I've made is very like long form. I feel like I'm going to start trying out content that I typically watch, because I like producing Let's Play content, but I've realized that outside of streaming, I don't really watch Let's Play content. The only Let's Plays I really watch are really, really old ones that I found in my childhood that I like revisiting sometimes. But I don't think I've watched a new Let's Play in like over 2 years by anyone that I followed. Besides like just, coming in, clicking in for a little bit. And I realized, wow, I'm kind of doing the same thing while expecting others to watch my videos when I'm not doing it to them. So if I'm not watching Let's Play content, then I shouldn't be making it, I guess, is what I'm saying. Like, I've always talked about how I'm not going to stop it eventually. But I do have like a very big passion towards like Let's Play gaming content, but I feel like I need to have a bit of like a revolutionized gaming related content when it comes to the stuff that I make that is actually gaming related, kind of like a Zeez VS The 2 restart thing, where instead of like whatever I had, not necessarily that, but like focus on making like better quality videos that I feel like I would watch. Not something that is just there to be there. Like, kind of like the Let's Play content is, I would watch Let's Plays, but I don't really watch them much anymore. Because, again, they don't have as much value as, like, a highly edited, like, more dense video. So I feel like I kind of want to do that with, like, the main channel. Kind of finally actually kick off a main channel and not just the second channel.
Zeez VS The 2 is like slowly becoming the main channel.
Yeah, it's just it's the most popular one, but it's not the main channel. Like, I would like to actually make gaming content, because I feel like a gaming audience is a little bit easier to connect with. I feel like the audience for games, at least the games that I would want to play, are typically a little bit older, as opposed to the cartoon community, which is a little bit younger. And I think it would just be really, really fun. So I'm going to try out and make new types of content on YouTube, and think about the content that I really want to watch, because I don't really watch Let's Play content, and yet I've been making Let's Play content with gaming. And I think after like the last 2 that I have that I need to finish, I'm probably just gonna take this in a new direction, besides just streaming or whatever.
No, that makes absolute sense. I kind of was thinking, and this is, I don't know, maybe jaded to think about. It's probably something that you think about now that you're, especially since you're doing it full time. Are you worried about like almost a return on investment? So the reason I say it is like you've talked multiple times on multiple episodes now about like gaming content being oversaturated. Are you thinking more like gaming analysis content?
That's the biggest thing that I've been thinking about recently. I've really been slowing down on the content and really thinking about what I want to make with gaming content, because there's so many different ways to do it. And I think I'm kind of down to like 3 different things. One, obviously, being like the analytical type things. Then there's also gaming like highlight videos, you could call it, where you just play a game for a certain amount of time, edit it down, only put in the best parts, make lots of funny jokes, and that would be like a video. Or I could do like a hybrid sort of style that's kind of like Peanut Butter Gamer. I don't know if you've ever seen any of his videos.
No.
Where, okay, well, he basically kind of does a hybrid of both, where it's very like comedic. It's mainly comedic, but you actually do provide some like decent criticisms for games and whatnot. And they're really good videos, honestly. He makes really, really good videos. So it's like I'm kind of wondering what sort of style I'd like to go with, because there's a lot of different styles you can go with, but I feel like you have to commit to one. And that's the biggest thing, is I've had really bad commitment issues to like one type of content, which I talked about on the last podcast. And I think that is what I finally need to like do for myself, because I have this channel as my don't care whatever the algorithm wants. I'll just post whatever on this channel, and I can use this channel as an outlet for, making those other types of videos that I want to make. And I can just actually commit to one main thing on like a main gaming related channel.
Yeah, this is kind of like your beta test channel, where you like beta test kinds of content that you're thinking about, right?
Sort of, or just the channel that I want to make content about something, but I have nowhere else to put it. It's my anti-algorithm channel where I just upload whatever I want. And it's like more personal content, I guess.
Since this is the more personal channel, have you ever thought about making this just Zeez VS? This be the main channel?
No, I feel like the direction I would want to take
branding
my
wise,
content,
that wouldn't be great.
Yeah, I feel like because this channel I feel like is always going to be like a niche, underrated channel when it comes to my channels or whatever. It's going to be like that channel
only
that
the most diehard Zeez fans would ever
exactly.
even know about this channel.
It would only be like the core fans of whatever people enjoy from my content.
It's your After Dark channel.
That's right, you guys. If you're watching this video, you are a diehard Zeez fan.
Yeah, I guess I would put it like that, sort of. Because, like, you know, most people, let's say, for example, you want to watch a video on roller coasters, right? RaceCar, and it's like a super awesome like highlight reel of all the epic coasters. You hate, bro. All right, listen.
What do you do with RaceCar?
Okay, we all like anime, right? Let's say we watch like this guy and he's like doing some really awesome anime analysis, and we click on those anime videos, but we don't care about like his second channel where he only talks about, you know, Play-Doh reviews. Let's say he reviews Play-Doh. Like, I don't care about him reviewing Play-Doh. I want to hear him talk about anime or whatever. That's what most people want to hear from me. It's like, they don't care about my podcast. They don't want to hear me talk about freaking roller coasters or like YouTube meta. They want to hear me talk about funny flatback bird moment. They want to hear me talk about Owl House Amphibia. And like, if it's gonna be gaming content, they want to hear me talk about like mainly Nintendo related games, which is probably what like the direction I'll be taking that channel in if it is. And you know, only the most people who really enjoy my content will actually explore the other avenues, I guess. And that's what this channel is. It's just anything else. It's the etc. channel.
Would this new content you're talking about be posted on your current main channel or in Zeez VS Gaming?
I think it would be a brand new channel, actually. Weirdly enough,
brand new. Wow.
Yeah, number 9. But no, I think you know how
this was one of the criticisms.
No, don't worry about it. The old, the new
criticisms.
Yeah. No, but listen. You know that H channel, right? My very first channel that is like completely abandoned.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that one.
I think what I would do is I would just turn the current Zeez VS channel into Zeez VS parentheses old, make a brand new channel, so the algorithm be like completely in my control. Because the algorithm hates that channel, by the way, because it's a mishmash of a bunch of different videos, like vlogs, random videos, gaming type videos, and then like a few long plays. It's horrible. Like I didn't plan for that that channel. I wasn't really focused on the algorithm back then, but now I kind of know like how the algorithm works and what it wants, especially thanks to Zeez VS G2. I think Zeez VS G2 is probably the biggest lesson I had with the algorithm, because I actually had a lot of data to work with, considering I had more input as opposed to the gaming channel. So I know a lot more about how it works now, thanks to Zeez VS G2. And I think I can actually commit to a brand new channel now with that knowledge, but I would need a new channel to start off with, which is kind of sad to say. So I think...
What would you do with gaming?
The gaming channel, I think gaming channel would become a VODs channel, like a stream VODs channel.
Okay, so just live streaming. Maybe when you're getting clips for set games, you could live stream it, potentially.
Yeah, I think that channel is like dead in the algorithm anyway. That's literally just going to be a VODs channel, I think. The current one that I stream on. That's kind of the direction I think I'm going to take it in, but I'm still like waiting and thinking about before I commit. I think probably in 2024 I'll probably like make this change, but for now I'm really just like leading up to it, planning about it, thinking about it, and I'm not making any like rash decisions. I'm just
R.I.P.
really
Zeez VS.
Is there any way to? You're kind of talking about that peanut butter person, right? Peanut butter gaming.
Peanut butter person.
Peanut butter and jelly
oh
man.
my god! No RaceCar, you've offended half the internet.
Okay.
He has like 2 million subscribers. He's pretty big. He's been around on the YouTube for a while.
Yeah, those 2 million subscribers are all gonna attack you now immediately.
Anyways, peanut butter man. So when do you know how many other is there any way to research other types of YouTubers who are very similar to his content? Because I feel like you could almost do, since you're kind of really like dwelling on this, you could almost do like analysis to see, hey, how oversaturated is this style of content, and how likely am I to be picking up new audience members?
Yeah. No, I think the thing about his content, because he was like a hybrid style, right? I think analysis videos right now are like what people really, really like. People love video essays. Video essays super pop off.
Yeah.
Especially since
they get a lot of engagement.
They get a lot of engagement and like long-term really engagement. And like that's the issue is like I just don't know what to commit to yet. Like if I want to take it, like if I want to only be comedic, if I want to be analytical, or I want like a hybrid style. And hybrid style is probably the trickiest one to master, I feel. So that's why I'm not rushing into it, and I'm taking my time to think about what I want to commit to.
Another thing I want to ask you about. The last podcast I was on, we had a pretty long conversation about other types of content you wanted to explore. This was stuff kind of mostly on Zeez VS too. Are you still looking to explore Miraculous Ladybug? I mean, it's been 3 weeks since your last upload on there, besides the One Piece re-upload.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. That video actually performed extremely badly, like so horribly. So YouTube will always give you like a ranking of what your last 10 videos were. I think I talked about that before.
Yeah,
it was a 10 out of 10 easy, but it was literally, it had 1/5 the amount of views as what 9th had. It was terrible. No. It was so awful. Like not a single person cared about that video.
Viewers hate pirates.
Yeah, they all hate One Piece.
I think if that video was up right now, it would have like 1,500 views right now. After like a whole week or whatever. And if you look at like that video on the third channel, it has like 400 views, which is a third of that. And it's on the third channel.
Right.
So what?
Yeah. It was really bad. And also that video was like mega copyrighted anyway because so I wasn't getting paid for it anyway. So I just kind of was like, yeah, whatever, I'll transfer it over here because I didn't feel like messing with the copyright. But no, I have one last Owl House video, the Alice Kahoot video that I was talking about. Yeah. For the life of me, I just can't finish it, man. I'm just so burnt out from it. It's so difficult to finish it because I'm completely out of jokes. I have like nothing else to add. So the entire like back half of the video is just like really, really like nothing.
Just say flat pack a bunch of times.
Yeah, dude, actually there's like 4 flatback memes in there because I don't really know what else to say. And it's going to be like 8 minutes, like exactly, because I have like no ideas, bro.
The Collector's an iPad Kid, flat pack.
Yeah, just use like, now people love all like the basic jokes.
Hunter's
I'm like,
PS5, right?
I'm so done with those jokes. Like, I mean, I do like flatback. Flatback's like probably my like little baby because I made that one. But you know, like people like love it, like Enzo Gabriel, Lego Eat It. I'm like, those jokes are funny. But you can't say them 1,000 times in a row, which is what my content has been. So I can't do that
just hard cut the end of the video of like 5 minutes of the Lego Eat It gif and say bye guys.
Honestly, I thought about doing something like that where it's just like the last 2 minutes of this are just Lego Eat It. Don't click off, guys. Don't click off. Because like I can't be. It's not that I can't be bothered. I'm just completely out of jokes. I have nothing funny to say about those shows anymore because they're over. There's no new content, and the Hunger Games was literally where I put all my I put like so much of my time, effort, and jokes into that video. I used up everything that I had in that one video, and I also had to remake it like 80% of it because of the AI voice thing. So it's like use all these jokes, then scrap it, come up with all these new jokes, and then I'm trying to do that with one last video. And it's about there's like 5 minutes of content on that video, but I'm just trying to like bust out 3 more minutes of content just so I get that extra ad revenue.
You like because I do think it'll be jokes.
It's tricky, especially in a Kahoot-based format where people are clicking on it for a quiz, and I'm trying to make an entertaining video about a quiz, which actually is very difficult because it doesn't really go well with each other, I feel. Because it leads itself to being a very slow-paced video, which is what I'm struggling with because I'm trying to make more fast-paced, like snappy editing videos, which quizzes don't really align with, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of just been struggling with it, and I want to like just finish it and then completely focus on Miraculous. But yeah, to answer your question, I am gonna do Miraculous. That is still. Do you have any sort of
script or videos that you already started working on?
Yes, I actually have a script started for the Miraculous Ladybug freaking review or whatever.
How long do you think it's gonna take to get that one out? I mean, that you're not gonna have like writer's block or like burnt out, so.
No, it's a completely new thing, and it's funny because I'm not like very experienced with writing it, but I've actually been just having fun with it. I think what I'm gonna do for this first review is I'm not gonna think too hard about it because there's like 5 seasons of the show to like build up, fans and material. I'm just gonna like do what I think is funny, and I'm just gonna go with it. And I'm just not gonna like think too hard about like what the fandom of the show like really wants to see. I'm just gonna make a video that I think is funny, and that's it. Like that's all I'm gonna do.
That's what you should be doing with this Owl House video, man. I mean, you have 5 minutes of tight content.
The issue with it's because it's the format of the quiz. That's all it is. It's the quiz format that's really making it difficult because I'm trying to balance the speed of the video while also making it long enough to be like a quiz format. Because people click on it because it's a quiz, not for a snappy edited video. But people aren't going to stay as long if it's just a quiz because that's boring. They're going to click off instantly.
Right.
Like the quiz.
I feel like this is
clicks.
one of those content paradoxes.
It is.
Yourself in.
It's people click on it because they want to see the quiz, but most people are going to click off because they just end up not caring after like the first 3 questions because they're like, these are all easy. I know all these, and they might skip to the end or whatever. But I want to like make a snappy video, but also make it quiz related. It's been hard, and I'm kind of just trying to like just get it out so I could focus on Miraculous. Honestly,
do you feel like the ending of this Kahoot video has been harder to edit than your art contest?
The art contest is just tedious. That's all it is. It's not hard. It's just tedious. This video is much more creatively taxing, I feel like.
Yeah.
Where the art contest, while creatively taxing because I can't input any creative things, it's more just a mental stamina battle with the art contest. Because it's just such a long video.
They're hard in different ways.
Yeah, it's like some videos are just like, a grind fest. It's just a stamina thing. While others are just very creatively like, I have to put in this joke here, and it's like all has to be really snappy. Like, you can't have like 3 seconds go by without a joke or like some funny thing happening. I feel like that's kind of like the Hell House Hunger Games 2 was kind of like that, where it was like after every single like prompt there was a joke, which was pretty tricky because there were a lot of prompts, and I even cut out a lot because I didn't have enough jokes for them. But that video was like pretty snappy, well edited, and there was like an animation meme reference joke after each little prompt. So that's kind of where like the format from that kind of came from.
No, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I'm looking forward to your Miraculous Ladybug stuff. I know. Hold on, have you watched any more of it besides the movie?
I have not, because I want the videos to be specifically just my insights on the movie.
Raw reactions.
Yeah, and I feel like it'll be funny for people who like obviously know about Miraculous Ladybug to see what my journey throughout it will be. Because I'm going to make a video on like season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, season 5, whatever. And, people can kind of follow along with that while already knowing about certain things. And I feel like the way I want to format it is more of like a journey through the show. And I'll also do like little side events like Kahoots and maybe a Hunger Games for Miraculous too. It's going to be like a whole era probably. It's going to take like maybe a year. I don't know. But I think that's the thing I'm going to commit to, weirdly enough. It's just because I think it's a big enough cartoon. It's still ongoing, and there's a lot of potential for like growth there, not just in numbers, but like also in creating content. Because like I said, the show does have weak writing, so I feel like it'll also give me a chance to be comedic with analysis. Yeah,
absolutely. And that was one thing I was going to get at. I mean, like, yeah, maybe the movie has weak writing. Like what I talked about in the previous podcast, I wonder if the fan reaction of this video, people who are really into it, are going to be like almost offended that you didn't watch the series before going to the movie. Like maybe you're missing context. I don't know.
I think to be fair, I honestly don't think that's going to happen because I feel like I'm going to provide a unique take as somebody who's never seen the show but has jumped straight into the movie. Like, a lot of people have new takes on the One Piece live action who have never seen the movie before.
Okay.
And I think most One Piece fans are more happy that people are getting into the show through the live action. So I feel like it's going to be the same for me, whereas I watched this movie first, and people are going to be like, oh, this is going to be cool. He's going to get into the show because of this movie. So I feel like I kind of provide a unique perspective there as somebody who hasn't seen like any of the show to go straight from the movie to season 1 and then onward.
Yeah, I feel like Zeez has a point there. Like, I mean, like, the movie's... I'm trying to remember. The movie's pretty recent, right?
Yeah, it came out like a month ago, I think.
Yeah, so everyone's already talking about the movie, and you see this new person coming onto the scene talking about the movie, and then they're just going to be catching up and talking about it. I feel like that's totally acceptable. I feel like the fans... I don't know, I just don't feel like it's the kind of show where there's this long-running continuity, I guess, that you really need to, like, pay attention too much to. I don't know. I don't know too much about the show, though, so maybe I was just pissed off like a huge number of miraculously fun fans.
I don't know. We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see how it goes. I'm just like super excited to like jump into it though. I really am. It kind of gets me like giddy about like where I started making like Amphibia Isles content like right when I first began. I'm kind of feeling that same sort of feeling when I'm jumping into Miraculous, even though I've not even like seen the show. It just kind of gets me like.
Have you watched it yet or?
No, I've still only seen the movie, but I think it's more just
I know
I have such. Yeah, I think it's more just because I know I have like a long road ahead of me, and I know that the show hasn't ended yet, and I know that the fandom is very much alive, and there's lots of jokes, and it's like I feel like going through the journey and discovering it, and like just making videos about it is going to be really really fun, and seeing like where it's all going to turn out. You know, maybe it'll be a bad thing. You know, maybe this could be a horrible idea, but I want to try it out, and I'm getting pretty excited for it.
I don't think it'll be a bad idea. I think you're taking a good risk here, and it kind of relates to the style of content you're making already. So I don't think it'll hurt like your channel specifically too, like a sharp change in content. It's really just changing shows that have probably fairly overlapping fandoms as is too.
Yeah, especially since there's a lot of shipping going on in Owl House and there's a lot of shipping going on in Miraculous. And young people love to like ship stuff. I'm not somebody who cares about that kind of stuff, but like any show that has a big shipping culture is going to be popular because people love that stuff. They eat it up. Even though I don't care about it.
FedEx? You heard that? You heard that?
I'm not joking. It's a thing. It's literally a thing.
I know it's a thing. I was making a dumb joke.
Even when I was a teen, I was like really into like some animes. I never got into shipping, but whatevs, Ming. Whatever makes you guys enjoy it the most.
Yeah. No, I think one last thing that I have on here for like my topics is I wanted to talk about like intake and outtake. And this is like pretty generalized. I watched a video by Masahiro Sakurai on his YouTube channel where he talks a lot about like different things on his channel, mainly like game development related things. But he talks about work ethic, which can be related to lots of different things. And one thing he said for creators specifically, not just in game development, he said that your intake needs to be like more. You have to like make sure your intake is like wide and broad, so that your output can be really, really good. I guess I generalized his statement really, really well. But he says basically like be very open to things, get a lot of input from a lot of different things, lots of different information. That way, whatever your output can have so many different ideas into it. For example, you know, like how I talk about, I'm not very interested in like random things until I form a connection on it or whatever. Like if I didn't ever talk to you, RaceCar, I would barely know anything about roller coasters or whatever. I know you hate them now, but
yeah, I do hate them. It's
but you know, like I know a little bit more about roller coasters thanks to you. So that like has widened my information input about roller coasters. And he kind of talked about like not just taking things in, consuming content, but also thinking and reflecting on said content. Where instead of just like binging through an entire show, maybe like watch like a couple episodes, think about those few episodes, think about why the characters did what they did, think about what the direction the story is going into, and don't just like bum rush through it, right? Think about it actually, and like just kind of like ask yourself questions about stuff like that. And I think that's like kind of like a direction that I kind of want to go to a little bit, just like broadening the input. That way my output can be even more enriched through knowledge of what I have throughout the world. Kind of like what Emmy was talking about in the last podcast when she was talking about how she just randomly narrates things throughout her life or whatever, like just on random things.
About your walks.
I gave that a try and I was just kind of like, you know, this is actually fun. I actually have fun doing this. And I kind of found myself, yeah, whenever I take walks, I kind of just self-narrate and I just kind of found myself enjoying it a lot. And it made me want to think about like different ways to describe the way I was walking or like the way I was looking toward the pond or how like the moon would reflect on the water near my apartment. And it just got me like thinking about all this sorts of stuff. And it really just kind of like opens your mind when you're really thinking about like improving a specific thing. And I've been kind of thinking about, taking Masahiro Sakurai's words to heart and, lowering my output a little bit and increasing more of my input. That way I have a more broad set of knowledge to work with when it comes to creating content. Because I feel like if I'm just, constantly creating, my input is getting smaller and smaller and smaller because I have less things to work with, right? For example, every single podcast that we do, I have a lot of things to talk about, but the list is constantly decreasing, right? And we can always jump back to older topics as well. But, you know, I've talked about so many topics that some are just, you know, there's no point in talking about them anymore. So my input is constantly getting smaller and smaller. But if I just keep on increasing that input, you know, I'm not going to run out of output, I guess. Which is why I'm thinking of like lowering the output, increasing the input on YouTube or just any other skills or experiences in life, I guess. That was a bit of a tangent there. But
No.
I thought it was something
that makes a
fun
lot
to
of
talk
sense.
about.
I mean, it's something like a lot of writers have to deal with too. Like sometimes writers just have to like stop writing and they need to go out and experience the world, and then they can come back and like their experience about the world has informed their writing in a way.
Yeah, I think Hayao Miyazaki actually talked about that, where he was talking, I think he said something like, there's so many people in the industry that have lots of ideas, but they can't replicate like the types of stories that he tells where it's very emotional and very human. That's because he takes a lot of time observing and listening and like taking a lot of input from like different people and having like different life experiences. And he puts all of that into his artwork. Whereas like other people just, you know, take works from just fiction or whatever. It feels less human, I guess, is what he was talking about. So it's not exactly the same thing with me, but it's a similar idea, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's a similar concept.
Yeah, I was glad that you brought up Hayao Miyazaki. To an extent, I wasn't going to bring up him, but I was going to say this intake-output sort of style of advice is really similar to what I've seen a lot of animators say, like online and other stuff like that. So, like, for instance, I know, like, one of my favorite anime directors of all time is Masaaki Yuasa, and, like, his personal YouTube channel is just tons of clips of, like, life, like, the way that, like it was, like, it's, like, him, like, playing with, like, a chain, or, like, him walking by a creek. And then, like, I've heard, like, other animators or people who create animations, directors or writers, where they'll record, like, audio of them, like, walking through a train station or through a park and, like, trying to pick up on, like, what conversations are happening or, like, what kind of, like, the general body language of people are and, like, describing it to an extent. So they can make, like, more realistic scenes that are more in touch with reality. Because
that's so cool. What the heck? That's awesome,
actually.
I don't know about the filming random people in public thing, though, but the idea of that is cool.
Recording him and whatever he uploaded on YouTube wasn't random people, but it was like him playing with stuff. But the thing is, yeah, you can do that. And I think the huge issue with anime, and this has been talked about before, like issues with the industry, is all the anime people who get into it are all anime fans. So it creates like this circle input, right? It just constantly.
Yeah, it's like gets diluted, where it's like, you know, you see, for example,
no, it's like self-referential.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, there you go. Self-referential. They're all into the tropes. They love the tropes. They love the way that like how.
But there's no like synthesis. It just becomes references to itself over and over and over again. But there's nothing new. And so it just stagnates because, like, I'm imagining, like, some water in, like, the system, and it's just circulating with itself, and nothing new
it's like
coming
filtering
in.
water that's already been filtered, and you keep filtering it over and over and over again, and less content makes it through each time.
Because the type of people going into the anime industry are kind of all the same. They're all, like, nerdy people, right? So all they do is basically just play the same games and watch the same anime, and then they kind of recycle it through, instead of getting really into other forms of film, or into getting into like real life hobbies and like understanding real life or writing or novels or other things like that, you know.
And that's obviously not to say that any of those things are bad. It's just that when everybody is creating content in a loop of like very similar ideas, you're not going to get new ideas.
Right.
Yeah, and that was a problem. I think the Star Wars community was having that problem too, where a lot of the new Star Wars IPs were becoming like self-referential to the point where there was no synthesis of ideas and it was just stagnating.
One of my favorite things with stagnant, and something that I can tell with all the time, and this is an anime thing, I feel like you can tell how stagnant a production is or like how uncreatively driven it is by like when a main character goes in their room. And I'm saying this like first off, rooms are usually kind of smaller. I feel like in anime characters have these massive rooms that are pristine condition with hardly any mess, like personality on them. You know what I'm talking about? Like it almost seems like they're almost too big and too.
So this was no. I need to say this, Zeez. I'm sorry.
Okay.
This is something I'm extremely passionate about.
All right, slice of life, gal.
No. So this was something I noticed.
Go on.
I'm
I'm sorry.
taste testing so hard, right? I'm done. No, I'm over. It's over.
Keep going.
Anyway.
I'm sorry, Emmy.
Okay, so basically, this was a huge criticism that I had of the first season. So for those of you that remember, I was watching Symphogear, which I didn't even like the show actually that much, except the last season was pretty decent. But anyways, this was a huge problem with Symphogear. It's exactly what RaceCar was talking about, where the rooms had no personality. They were all totally pristine. There was no sense of place. All the objects and the backgrounds seemed like they were illustrations and not actual, like, things that people would interact with because they seemed so out of place and unnatural. Like, you didn't see people interacting with things. I don't know. You get what I mean?
It was just there to fill up space.
They were just props. They weren't things.
Yeah, they feel
that,
like props.
happened.
When you go like through someone's house, it feels like props sometimes in anime instead of having that sense of home. I think there are a lot of shows that really nail it, but not, I don't know. Like it just...
There was this really interesting example, actually, that someone brought up. I forgot the YouTuber's name. But they brought up this... Well, so basically, he brought up this example of, like, in Death Note, which is an extremely popular anime, if you didn't know.
No way.
Where, in one of the episodes, there's, like, this cell phone, and that becomes pretty much the entire plot conceit, is around this cell phone, and whether or not a character would get a call... I'm not trying to spoil too much. But basically, whether or not the character would get a call from someone else or not. And so I was like, that's a great example of, like, a thing not being a prop. It's like there's a sense of, like, wow, this, like, mundane object is actually having, like, a huge impact on the plot. And, like you can't just take it away. Like, they put it in their pocket. It's, like, it feels like an object that exists because, like, they respect the object. Okay, I'm done.
I get that.
Yeah, that's a good example. I feel like this is a random tangent, but I feel like I watched a video about props and how objects relate to story. Apparently, Better Call Saul and like Breaking Bad does that really, really well by establishing like props and objects and using them to like do visual storytelling really well. I don't want to get into it super well. There's tons of videos on it out there, but visual storytelling is very fascinating to just listen about and see.
Well, it's like a form of world building when you're establishing these props. Like, people that fail to establish these as more than props kind of, like, makes the world feel less real in a sense.
Yeah, and if I were to describe it right here, it would not hit nearly as hard as if you, like, saw a scene for yourself, because the visual storytelling is just so much more powerful than actually describing it.
You should work on your narration, Zeez.
I'm sorry.
Talking about anime... you have a topic here, Emmy, about shonen anime for being for boys.
Oh yes, this was something I wanted to talk about last week. So another anime that I've been watching recently is My Hero Academia.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I'm a little late to the train on this one.
That's fine.
But
I mean, I have never seen it, so this is what we need freaking the infinitesimal freshman for. What the heck?
This is his favorite show.
Dude, he wanted to be a hero. Come on now.
Yeah, it's just like his whole plot arc was him being a hero.
My Hero Macadamia Nut.
Macadamia Nut, all man and all boy.
I don't think your audience even knows those jokes.
No, a few of the gaming ones surely will know All Men and All Boy. Actually, All Men and All Boy appeared on just All Men. All Men appeared on a stream on this channel.
I mentioned to Zeez just like while like messaging him on Discord that the last picture of him kind of makes him look like All Boy, but
not All Boy, bro.
No, it does. The fighting picture.
All Boy, bro. Not
Zeez
freaking All
is
Boy.
All Boy confirmed.
He literally is All Boy.
For the record, all man is All Might. That's what we're talking about, and All Boy is Deku Nut or whatever his name is. I don't know his actual name. His name is Deku.
His name is actually Deku Leaf from The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. Excuse me.
Midoriya, yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So this was a topic.
Wait, that's funny. Is that why he's green?
What?
Midori means green in Japanese. Is that why he's green?
Wait, actually? Holy crap, I think that's...
Does it actually? Bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard that, like, a lot of anime characters have names that are just essentially puns.
Huh. Interesting.
Like how Bochi's name in Bochi the Rock is just like,
Yeah.
her name just means I'm all alone, pretty much.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's depressing.
There's a Hitori Bochi, which before Bochi the Rock was like the cute girl who was like really klutzy and stuff like that. So
I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen these. I don't watch slice of life stuff. Except for Mob Psycho. Which is like hybrid slice of life.
Yeah, Mob Psycho is definitely not really a slice of life show.
I feel like it's got a lot of elements of one though, right?
Every show has elements of slice of life.
I feel like Mob Psycho really leans into it though.
Well, I mean, if your show doesn't,
I don't know. It's very
have
action
element.
oriented.
At least more than I feel like more than any other action-based show, Mob Psycho feels like it leans into it a lot more than others. From at least that's what I think.
Anyways, talk about shonen anime for boys. I mean, we kind of derailed there.
Yeah, sorry.
You're fine. You're fine. I think that was a okay derail. But basically, I've been thinking about this recently, where so there's these criticisms of My Hero Macadamia, where like a lot of the girls in the show kind of just get like super shafted, and like
Absolutely.
one of the responses to that is, oh well, shonen anime is for boys, and I'm just like, I was thinking a lot about that sort of criticism, and I'm just like, for one, I actually don't think shonen anime is actually for boys, and another, like, most of the people that offer this as a response are, like, I thought about this, they're probably not in the target demographic either, because most of the people online commenting this are probably adults.
Well, there's this I thought that was the main target audience is for young boys, though, right?
Yeah, the main target audience is for younger boys, but like a lot of adults still watch this. Like how like a lot of adults watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like something can be like have something as its main target audience, but I feel like at the same time, like that shouldn't keep it from like trying to net a wider audience than its target audience. You know?
No, for sure.
Like, that would be like me saying, oh, this book is only for, like, 10-year-olds. 11-year-olds can't read it. Like, if you're, like, 10.1, you can't read this book anymore.
What?
That would sound dumb, right? Like, why wouldn't I want more people to read the book or enjoy it? And so, I feel like it's the same way with, like, a lot of different content. But, like, again, as this criticism for the girls getting shafted in the show, like, there are girls who watch like MHA that are complaining about it, and personally I'm also complaining about it.
Right.
And I don't know, I just feel like it's almost immersion breaking actually when I see that, because like the main plot conceit of the entire show is that everyone has superpowers, or most people have superpowers, asterisk all boy.
All boy. No powers, all boy. No epic powers. What a lame-o. Except he gets them from All Man. Spoilers. I know that, actually.
Happens in, like, the first 2 episodes. It's not even a huge spoiler.
No, he eats his hair.
Eats her hair, guys.
He eats his hair, and he gets powers.
He eats hair.
And he can use Big Punch. He can use Big Punch.
Just eat hair. Like, I'm recommending you doing this. Please do it.
Is All Man dead, by the way? Does he... Don't actually answer that. Don't answer. I don't know if you know if he's dead. I feel like he feels like a character who should... What the heck? I don't know. Okay, I don't know if you're lying.
I don't actually know. I don't actually know Zeez. I
was like, don't spoil that. Don't actually.
I don't know. I haven't watched that far. So
I would like to know if he dies or not, though. Guys, if All Man is dead in the comments, type grape at the very bottom of your comment.
Grape.
Just so I know, if you made it this far, type grape at the bottom of your comment. Only if All Man is dead canonically, and you know that. If you don't know anything, if All Man is dead or not, don't type anything.
I feel like we're just gonna get a bunch of comments of grapes.
And then I'll know All Man's dead.
I don't know. I wanted to hear your guys' thoughts on this.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
As well.
I have thoughts for sure. So, like, Ochako is like the worst offense of this out of all the characters, bar none. She has this huge like character arc. I think during the train, like season 2, like the training, or not the training.
The tournament. No, there's the tournament arc.
Yeah. She has like this whole thing with her parents and like this whole big character change. And
oh yeah, she like devolved.
The second season 3 or 4 start, the only thing she's good at is thinking that Deku's cute. Like that's like it. That's all her character is. It's so cringe. The worst offense, even worse than My Hero Academia, was Fairy Tail, dude. There was a character. Oh my god, dude. There was a character in Fairy Tail where I don't even remember her name, but she was basically dead like before the story started, and it was like some girl that like Natsu is really close to. Natsu's the main character, pink hair.
What about the blue cat? What about the blue cat?
That's I don't even remember his name at this point. Happy. Anyways, so I think it's Happy.
Tell me about the blue. I want to hear. Sorry, I just think the blue cat is funny.
Is comic relief character.
Sorry, I just think the blue cat from Fairy Tail is funny. I've never seen it. I just think he's funny. He just looks stupid. I want to beat him up. He looks like punchable. You know.
You should beat him up. The show kind of sucks. Anyways, it does suck. But to get into it though, there's this character like forever. It's like it builds up this whole relationship that like Natsu had with this person, and through some magic hocus pocus BS, that character gets brought back to life like 100 and something odd episodes in, right? Literally, the second she gets back, she is just void of all personality. There's no chemistry between Natsu and this person. Literally, she just like cooks and cleans and like smiles and has like large whatever, right? Like all fairy tale women have. And that's it. Like that's like her entire personality. It was so off-putting to me. And this was my second anime I ever watched, by the way. This is after I watched Hunter x Hunter. I watched Fairy Tail, which holy crap, what a downgrade.
No. Yeah, what a downgrade, bro.
Yeah, speaking of shonen animes that don't treat women with this total disrespect and actually have continuity in their character arcs, Hunter x Hunter. Anyways, so
I've heard
I do think it's like I really honestly think it actually hurts the show, narratively speaking.
Huge.
It makes zero sense from a world building perspective. It makes zero sense.
I don't know if it is.
No one can convince me.
I don't know if it is from like a women perspective either. Like, the only characters that reliably have growth in them, like from my knowledge, is Todoroki, Hot and Spicy Man. I meant
Bootleg
Spicy
Zuko?
and Spicy Man.
Bootleg Zuko?
Yeah, he's literally just Zuko. He's just Zuko.
Okay,
he's just Zuko too.
Thank you. Okay, that's a good comparison. So Zuko with
Bootleg
ice
Zuko.
as well.
It's Bootleg Zuko specifically.
Yeah, it's just Bootleg Zuko. His name is Bootleg Zuko now. Honestly, I was gonna make that joke.
So Zuko has character development. Bakuman Man has character development.
Bakugan Man.
What about Almond? Does Almond have any character development?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, he has a lot of character.
I mean, honestly, could that criticism be related to some of the male characters too?
No.
Speed guy that has like the exhaust on his legs.
Even he has character development. He has more character development, and arguably than some of the girls.
I was gonna say I remember like he's like the very honorable like class president type guy, and then
but he had this whole arc with his brother.
Right, yeah, his brother like almost dies, and then it's his whole
thing. He like upgraded
and then
several times.
Afterwards, he's like totally back to normal, right? Like there's like no change.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have nothing to add, bro.
It's okay, don't worry.
Don't worry about it, Zeez.
All I can say is try to with All-Man every 30 seconds.
All-Man doesn't die.
All right, listen. You guys keep talking. I'm just going to say All-Man every 30 seconds while you guys talk about what I don't understand. Keep going,
I have no more complaints about shonen anime for not being... it's an issue across all of it, and I think it is more of an issue that relates to women characters. I think with like really popular shonen anime at the moment... Think like Jujutsu Kaisen or...
What'd you say, Zeez?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard Jujutsu Kaisen has really strong female characters.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've seen at least the first season of that. And yeah, pretty much, yeah, I would agree. Like, the main girl character who's in like the trio, like, very good character continuity. Same development as the rest of the people.
I think One Piece has strong female characters, too. I think they're framed in really, really poor ways at times, and their gags could be really stupid. But otherwise, besides that, they're pretty strong.
Yeah.
I actually don't fully like the phrase strong female characters because it makes the sense that like default female characters aren't like just strong.
When I say strong, I mean like as in well written, as in like strong characters, not like strong as in like powers.
I feel like that should be the standard though. Like we should just say well written female characters because that's what we really mean.
For sure.
Do a slight transition to this topic where I say shoujo anime isn't for girls as well. Like one anime I really have enjoyed, and this is like the first shoujo I like thoroughly watched through since like Orange, like 2017, is Chia Faru. I can't even say it. Chihaya Furu.
Chia Pets?
No,
I had a Scooby-Doo Chia Pet.
Oh my god.
In the distance. In the distance, I can hear the
we'll
song.
stop talking about anime. I'm sorry.
Chia.
Sorry, RaceCar. We had to put an end to this.
Chia.
Chia.
All right, what's our next topic? I don't even know, bro. I'm laughing.
We got a few more.
I just keep thinking about that stupid chia pet that I used to have that never worked.
What
Do you want to
chia
talk
pet did you
about
have?
do you want to talk about the drama video?
Oh yeah, the
We gotta
quote
cover
unquote
it. We gotta cover
drama. The PNGtuber versus Zeez VS
You
which
mean
is
Zeez
Zeez
VS
VS G is all boy confirmed.
sorry, Zeez VS Geek / Zeez VS Cheese Puffs. Yeah, I mean, there's not really too much to say that I didn't really already say in my reaction video. Voyager Arts YT, the PNGtuber, made a hilarious video calling me out.
I will say,
basically telling me I'm the worst YouTuber of all time, which is awesome. You know, it was a great video. It was very, very funny. It was like 5 minutes long, and he actually had some really good writing in that one. I really appreciated it.
No, he went hard.
He did. He did go
I
hard.
thought
Yeah.
maybe like a 2-minute video, like of some really generic things, but no, yeah, he went hard.
I will say, for the record, Luna Pavis Soulcrest will forever be with you, Zeez.
Let's go, Luna. Always glad to have Luna Pavis Soulcrest on my side.
Would you say you're effectively canceled after that?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so are you deleting your channels? Like, I think the second we stop recording, right?
Yeah, actually, well, we're gonna upload this podcast, and then I'm gonna transfer every subscriber from every channel that I have all into Voyager Arts YT, because he is a 6'5". He's a 6'5" Giga Chad and True American Patriot, you know.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true. I forgot about the 6'5" part. I met you in real life before. No cap. You're not 6'5", man.
Yeah, I'm not a Giga Chad or a True American Patriot. So you know, I lose instantly. But you know,
He's still training. He's still training.
Dulce did draw some very awesome boxing art. You can check that out in the community tab of this channel. It's very cool.
Yeah, that was probably like one of the coolest things that spawned from that. It was very unexpected when it happened.
Yeah, good job, Dulce.
Yeah,
I applaud you.
Do you feel like okay? So I liked the comment about the hyena laugh. That was very funny.
That was really good. That was really good. Yeah.
And it made me think about whenever you laugh now, I think about you as a hyena. So,
dude, I hate my own laugh. It's funny. I've always hated my own laugh.
It's okay. My laugh kind of sounds like a dying walrus.
You've explained to me before, Aziz, that like your laugh you try to do like to fill the void to sound more entertaining.
Yep, it generated from my Let's Plays where like 50% of my sentences end with a laugh because I just laugh at myself like that, and it just fills up the void because I didn't know what else to say half the time when I was doing Let's Plays. So it would just end with like a ha 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 funny.
Get it? I'm so funny. It's like adding your own laugh track to a comedy.
Yeah, it's like watching iCarly or Victorious, but in real time.
And then I also like this little criticism on all your channels. How many do you have?
Yeah, you have too many.
bro.
You have too many channels. This is an intervention. You have to.
Yeah, there is.
All right, get rid of the ones that don't matter, like Pokemon.
RaceCar, back me up here. Back me up here. We need to stop Zeez from making more channels.
Yeah, no, you're trying to make another channel according to this freaking podcast.
He's multiplying. He's multiplying out of control.
Yeah, I got too many channels, bro. I know it's a problem. It's a problem, bro.
You know, I feel like it does hurt your ability to like grow in terms of a creator because you keep spreading yourself so thin.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like the brand recognition thing is kind of hard when you have so many channels.
This is now, if you're going to make this new channel you're talking about, something I didn't bring up earlier, this will be now your 4th gaming channel.
Yeah, I know. It's tricky. I think if there's any channel that would sack, it'd be the Pokemon one. But I don't want to sack the Fire Emblem one because that is specifically something that I want to keep alive for community-based stuff in the Fire Emblem community. Which is.
Would you say it's your 2nd most successful channel?
Yeah, actually, it is. Technically, it makes of the 3 channels that are monetized, it makes the most money, even though I upload less there.
What 3 are monetized?
The gaming one, the Fire Emblem 1 and 2. This one is not monetized.
Awesome.
This one will probably be monetized in like 4 months.
Have you ever had a channel make more than 2?
No, not at all. Never. Not unless somebody gives me like a massive donation, and even then, no.
Do you get donations often? I've seen you get it before, but
Rarely. Maybe I'd say like once every like 5 streams. I don't make content that like live streams that are like super worth donating towards, I suppose. It's more just people wanting to help me out. Because the live streams are like pretty simple. It's just like basically let's play content but live.
no, I get that. Yeah, I remember when you got your first donation. Weren't you kind of like, I don't, maybe I don't remember, but I don't know. It's just interesting when that happened. And then I've talked to you about this before. Have you ever thought about having like a Patreon?
Yes, but I don't know what I could provide to it. That's the issue.
Like
I don't
what
know
extra content or gift you could provide.
I don't know what I would provide.
You also
and even
have
then,
one.
I don't know if I'm like, again, I just don't know what I would provide for it.
There's
That's
also
really it.
one bigger issue with a Patreon. It's the fact that, your average audience member doesn't have disposable income.
Yeah, because they're too young.
Yeah, I mean, it just I just would kind of might be a little. But even then, it's like if you get like one patron or 2 patrons, would it be like what would be your area of success? I guess with a Patreon.
I mean, it doesn't cost much to upkeep one, really, does it?
Well, even then, if I would probably do a membership thing before I would do a Patreon.
Or YouTube
even.
membership.
Yeah, but even then, I don't know why I would do that because I have nothing to offer besides like simple emotes. Like that's all I could do. Like you can do like membership only videos, but I don't feel like I'd want to do that because they would only get like 50 views. Why would I make a members only video when I could just make a regular video, right? Like what's the point? I don't like locking stuff behind paywalls. That's another thing I just don't think
You could
I
have like
can find myself
content
doing.
suggestions from members, which is what a
Maybe.
lot of creators
I think there's
do.
a million examples for Patreon at this point that you can see.
There are, yeah, but I hate locking content behind paywalls. I hate that. That's something that I just never really wanted to do with YouTube. That's why I don't like want to take sponsorship deals unless I really, really like the sponsor. Which I haven't got many. I've gotten like maybe a few. But I haven't gotten one from Raid Shadow Legends, so you know.
Dang it, bro.
How about NordVPN?
I've got one VPN sponsorship offer, but I don't even remember what it was called. It was like Atlas VPN or whatever, I think.
Zeez, I know how much facial hair you have, man. You should really do a Dollar Shave Club one.
Yeah, bro. I would love to do whatever, or like Blue Apron or whatever. I would actually take that. I would take a Blue Apron one.
Yeah, you heard that, Blue Apron?
Listen, Blue Apron, if you sponsor me on Zeez VS The PNGtuber, I'll take it. I'll actually take it.
They
I
have
would
a
actually do
bot that
sponsorship
listens
on
to
that.
every YouTube video ever to see who says Blue Apron the most, and then they're going to select who is the next
Actually,
Alright, guys,
like,
let's
literally,
change the name.
go-
It's like a
listen.
ghost. We just have to say it 3 times.
Blue Apron, here's
It's
the
like,
deal.
It's like
Here's the
Bloody
deal.
Mary.
Blue Apron, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Here's what we got, Blue Apron. So my video isn't 8 minutes yet on Zeez VS The PNGtuber. My Alice Kahoo. All I need is that Blue Apron sponsorship. It'll be 2 minutes long. And it'll fill the rest of the content that I
Oh
need.
my god, that's
6 minutes of content and 2 minutes of ads for Blue
Genius.
Apron. Come on, Blue Apron. Come on. Now's the time, bro. Now's the time.
You could just fill it with advertisements for things you're not even sponsored by.
Yeah. I remember that running joke I did in my old videos on a channel. I
The
shall not
Dasani,
name.
yeah. The Dasani.
Yeah, the Dasani. Like, it was like I was
I was about to say,
sponsored
like-
by Dasani.
Like, Fanta Pop good, orange soda good.
Just be like a running gag. You can just sponsor
You
random products.
guys, I love Sprite. I'm gonna drink the Sprite. That's good. Buy Sprite. There's my Sprite commercial for you, Sprite. That's all you need. Literally, honestly, all these like freaking underlying advertisements, shut up. Literally just be like, buy our product. If I ever made a commercial, I'd just be like, buy products, give us money, buy
Doesn't
product.
your script
buy
have to be approved before you can get just, like financed?
No, I'm talking about if I had my own thing. If it was a
okay.
sponsorship, obviously I have to use like their jargon or whatever. But if I was like
It
making my
depends
own
on what
product,
kind of sponsorship you get.
all I
though,
would
as
do is
well.
like look at the camera, scream and yell, buy product, consume product, give money, consume product. That's all I would say. And people would buy it because I'm just honest. Like,
Sharky's
stop
is
being
cool.
so dishonest, companies. We know all you're saying is buy product, consume product. Literally just say that, and I guarantee people will buy it because you're not beating around the
No,
bush.
do it while slowly zooming in as well. Like it zooms in more and more the more you see it.
But what's the gimmick, Zeez? Why would they buy and consume said product? For
Because
Because
I'm
he
Fanta?
said
telling them
it.
to, and that's it. And I'm
Oh,
being
that's
direct
fair.
and honest. I'm being direct, I'm being honest, and I'm not beating around the bush. I'm just saying, here's product, buy it.
Today's video is sponsored by Sharpies. You can mark things on paper. Buy it.
Consume Sharpie. Buy Sharpie. Consume Sharpie.
Please.
Only $1 per
product
Sharpie. I don't even know, bro.
is
Fork
Expo
company.
markers.
Buy this
Expo
fork.
markers. Buy this fork. This is a random takeout fork.
Just in case anybody's wondering, we're not actually sponsored.
That one
in case any
only.
companies are
Like,
listening.
not any other forks. Just that
We're
one.
not sponsored.
I have not heard any Sharpie sponsorship yet on YouTube, so we should be the first.
There are. So there's like really big ones. So if you go on Spotify, there's really big podcasts by like National Public Radio, so NPR, that get sponsors.
Well, yeah. I'm talking. Never mind. I'm talking about Sharpie sponsors specifically.
Now, even some YouTubers get sponsorships on their podcast, which is crazy because like podcast is like probably one of the lowest form of effort like content out there. It's just people talking.
Depends on what you're doing.
I almost feel like it might be more valuable, like a podcast channel, than a normal channel, because the whole gimmick behind getting creators to sell it is because people were into that personality, right? It was that personality was that you trust and know is selling you the product. And with podcasts, it's more of an intimate experience, right? So I feel like it's even more personality driven than average content. So maybe there's untapped potential.
I feel like there's a lot of engagement with podcasts.
Perhaps.
So basically, in terms of Sharpie, sponsor us. Thank you.
Yeah, Expo Markers also sponsored us. They changed my life. My
And
life
Blue
like
Apron.
evolved.
Expo markers changed my life.
They did change my life. Before Expo Markers, I didn't work on a whiteboard. But now with Expo Markers, all I work on is whiteboards. Whiteboards have changed my life.
You guys,
I'm never going
when
back.
I drank Prime Energy drink, I felt like I was freaking 21 again.
21. We're not even that old.
Exactly. It'll make you feel
like
21 again.
2 years younger than you actually are.
I felt like I was 45 again and newly divorced.
Says the 30-year-old. Anyway, guys, sponsor us, please. Come on. We need money so we can go on more coaster trips, bro.
Dude, please. Oh my god, that's the real
Honestly,
reason,
I
guys.
won't even lie, guys. If we get sponsored on an episode, it's a 1 and 3 split. It's a 1/3 split between all of us. If all three of us, if we get sponsored on this
I'm
episode,
giving you my amount, dude. I don't need your money.
nah, bro.
Jeez, I don't need-
it's
I
gotta
don't
be
need
for the
the
coaster
money.
trips, bro. We gotta go for the coaster trips, bro. It'll pay for our tickets.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, fair enough.
So, speaking of, I guess, content, what was this? You have one more comment here, if something we didn't cover. It says, what do I want to watch on YouTube? So I have one that I didn't put on there that I could talk about that was pretty interesting. It happened recently. It's a bit of a personal story, if you guys want to hear.
Go for it.
All right, so I recently went camping at Ludington State Park in Michigan recently.
Oh, tell us more.
Yeah, so fun fact about me, I'm very out of shape. Like, I think all of you guys probably maybe are listening. Joking, I don't know.
Dang, bro, what the heck?
Except for minuscule beginner. He's pretty.
What? I'm out of
Dang,
shape.
making fun of my audience. What the heck?
I'm out of shape.
joking, I'm
Be
joking.
nice, bro. Be nice. What the
Bro,
heck,
I
bro?
run 5K like 3 times a week. I could not be out of shape. If I'm out of shape, then like there's no
Wait,
hope.
actually, do you?
Yeah.
You do?
Emmy's always been
Yeah.
one to exercise a lot.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, ignore me for roasting everyone. Really unfair. Like, that was me.
I mean, maybe Zeez doesn't really work out a lot, but
Okay, then
I don't know.
I'm out of shape and terrible. Okay, and so one of the things is I'm okay with legs and stuff like that. That was like always my stronger suit. One thing I've never been great at is like upper body stuff, right? So
I'm in the same
we
park,
decided to go kayaking. We go kayaking for like 4 hours, right? And this is like against the wind, against like pretty strong current. We have to get all the way up, like a mile up, a mile or two
It's
up
tough,
to get to
dude.
these trails.
It's a grind, dude.
It is.
oh yeah.
It's an absolute grind. But I had a blast. I have decent endurance, like just naturally. So like I was able to do it like no problem, right? So we did this whole massive thing. It was an awesome trip, man. I mean, just kayaking. What it was is we'd go between like these swamp areas, right? And then we climb up on docks, and we have to hike our kayaks to the next swamp and then go through it.
Yo, that's dude, that's the best. That's the best. Doing it with canoes sucks though. Canoes are
I would
heavy,
never
bro.
I
touch
need to
it with
go
a
on
canoe,
some
that would be
outdoor
horrible.
adventures with you guys. I've never been to any of these outdoor adventures.
I'll
Sound
share a
neat, though.
story about my canoe version of your kayak thing.
I would hate it with a canoe.
Oh my
I'd
gosh.
probably fall out like 10 times.
Oh my gosh, dude. I'll talk about the canoe thing later. It was awful.
So we do this whole kayak adventure. It was about 4 hours of kayaking. We go to like all these like islands and all these things stuff too. It was awesome. Return the kayaks, and I'm feeling fine. Like I'm walking, I'm moving my arms. Right, we're going up to the campsite, but I noticed like they're getting a little sore. I thought like we did like a 10-mile or 11-mile hike the day before. My legs were a little sore. Right, I thought maybe it'd be kind of like that. Right, nah. Okay, so. We start by like having our dinner. I eat the dinner, sauerkraut and dumplings. We start settling down for the night, and we're playing like a card game. And I couldn't move my arms at all, hardly. Right? They just hurt like a ton. So I was like, I was still in good mood. So I was using my feet. We're making jokes about it. Essentially, it gets to the point where, like after we're done with this game, that my arms basically physically lock up into a position. And if I try to move any part of my body at all, not just my arms, I mean excruciating pain shoots all throughout my body. Like
oh my gosh,
what?
I'm almost like gonna like it's such bad pain that I'm like breaking out in cold sweats, and I like feel like I was gonna vomit. Like that's how much it hurt.
Oh,
And so I had to stay.
I feel like I've had that before. You probably pushed yourself way too hard.
Oh, absolutely. It was. I was what I was going to title it in the show notes there, or like our podcast thing was like the night from HE double hockey stick, because it was probably one of the worst nights of my life. So,
oh my gosh,
we started out there, and I physically could not move. I had to keep myself perfectly still, or else I was in excruciating pain. I took 5 pain pills, like you can't do that. You're not supposed to do that. That's like way too much, right?
Well, yeah, kids don't do that.
Yeah, please don't.
Not
I took
recommended.
like 3, and then I took like 2, then 3. It was just I couldn't. And it wasn't helping at all, not even slightly. And I just remember like I had to stay perfectly still the entire time, and they were just like sitting out at the campfire, and I was just like dying. And I was like trying to like slightly talk to them, but even like talking would move my arms enough they would hurt, right? Like just my lungs moving would hurt my arms. So
yeah,
I had to stay like
rough.
perfectly still. And it got to the point where like everyone was starting to pack up and go into bed, and I was thinking about just literally sleeping outside so I didn't have to move. And then right when we're
sleeping
packing
outside
things
is
up,
actually so underrated. You should do it.
what?
Sleeping under the stars or whatever. Sleeping outside is so underrated. It's
I was
amazing.
sitting from a camp like at a chair.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
I would have been pretty hard, but the thing that sucked was we started packing things up. When we start moving things in, we shine the lantern around. It's just like an electrical lantern, not like an oil lamp, right? And we see a bunch of like 2 skunks like right outside our like literally like 30
that's
feet
rough.
away, and I'm like, oh my god, I am not staying out here, right? And we hear more like so. There's like skunks all by. And I was like, at first I was like afraid of like a raccoon, but a skunk's way worse. So
Definitely.
I like convinced myself to like get up and move. And the thing with the movement is if I could move my arms. Like if I really forced myself to, I could move my arms and they would move fine. But it was like an aftershock, like with an earthquake. Like you do the initial movement, it hurts a little bit. The aftershock would come in, and I would be.
I know
crippled
exactly
in
what you're
pain.
talking about. Yeah,
I would start
it's awful.
hyperventilating. Oh my god! I would start hyperventilating, and like my I could feel my heart like pulsating, like my chest pulsating, like everything like pulsating.
Yeah.
It was so bad, and I got to the point where I was able to get to the tent, lay down. I had to have people like cover me up and like give me water and stuff, basically, because I just couldn't drink, right? And I just like they covered me up in my cot, and I knew I wasn't gonna sleep. I got about 2 hours of sleep that night because I was in too much pain to sleep. And the thing was, when you lay down, and something like you would never notice if you didn't have extremely bad arm pain, is the fact that like when you sit up like upright, your shoulders are naturally supported by your waist, like your arms like rest on something that then pushes your shoulders up. When you lay down, there's nothing that supports the back of your arms or your shoulders, right? So that just sitting there, I was in like a constant searing pain. So the only way I could get over that was like I had to like cross my arms over my chest to try to give my like arms as much support as possible with my upper body, so they weren't like fully resting on gravity, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't even know. I don't know how to describe it, but Yeah, I made it through that night, and I just remember I couldn't sleep, so I would just constantly be hallucinating. One of my things, like what I hallucinated about, was I was laying awake in the tent, and like it was partially open to let some air in. Not like the door, but we have like a screen door, right? So I was like, peering out of there at the stars and stuff, and I would just like keep hearing like voices. And there was this guy who like walked up to our tent multiple times and was like, "Hey, I drive a Prius, by the way. Like, hey, who's the owner of the white Toyota Prius?" Like I heard that like multiple times, like a guy calling out, like, "Hey, who's the owner of the Prius? Hey, who's the owner of the white Toyota Prius? Hey, something's wrong with your someone's wrong with the Prius." I'm like,
what the heck?
I felt like it was like so realistic, like someone was like trying to get our attention. Like, "Hey, is anyone awake? Is there something?" Like I heard that like multiple times throughout the night. And I obviously I couldn't like talk or respond or move. So I just like tried falling in and out of sleep. There was other like weird stuff too, but it wasn't anything like as weird as that one.
It was like a weird hallucination, you think?
Yeah, it was a hallucination. There was nothing wrong with the car. It just was. There was no one at our campsite. It was just like totally just hearing things, because I was like in and out of like the dream state, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably having like some sleep hallucinations.
Semi-sleep paralysis. Yeah, I don't know.
Now, I actually, whenever I get sick, this is a really weird thing. Whenever I get
Fever
sick,
dreams.
No, whenever I'm like really, really badly sick, I can compose music in my head masterfully. I don't know how to describe it, but I can literally make any tune.
No. I get what you're saying.
And I can just compose it so well, but I can't do it normally. I can like literally create music like I'm a masterful composer. I swear, it's so weird. It's like I almost want to like, if I know how to write music one day, I'm gonna purposely get myself sick so I can compose a masterpiece in my head, because like it's a weird thing that I've always noticed.
No, Zeez, I'm like that too, but like when I'm dreaming.
Mine's only when I'm really sick. I don't know why. It's so weird. And it's like it's a consistent thing too. It's so weird.
I wonder, when you get sick, your blood sugar spikes, your hormones all spike, like everything spikes, like things that interact with your brain and stuff, which is why people have fever dreams and stuff too.
Yeah.
Because your hormones are just so out of whack. Like everything is at absolute max overdrive. Which is, probably, I don't know, why you're getting your epic brain powers then.
No, I'm just wondering, like, why I can compose music in myself. I'm just musing to myself.
No, yeah, it's the same thing with me being sick. I don't know why I can do that. But no, it's fun that you tell, like, the little camping story, because I have, obviously, like, thousands with Boy Scouts, I could tell. But to kind of relate one to you, I did a trip called OACO, or Order the Arrow Canadian Odyssey, it was called.
Yeah.
And I went up to, like, Canada, and, I did a big canoeing trip up there. It was, like, a couple weeks long, where I did like a bunch of work one week, and then I did like a canoe trip the next week. And I was stuck with the youngest guy, so he was not like really helpful, because in a canoe you have to have two people, one person in the front, one person in the back, and he was barely paddling, and we were going upstream in the wind for like 5 miles, and it was really tough. And I didn't practice at all. I had no physical training at all, but I'm not gonna brag or anything, but I have really, really strong stamina, like you said earlier, RaceCar. But I've always been able to like kind of push through on that stuff, because I think genetically I've been given a very physically strong body. I think like my body is more naturally good at doing like endurance based things. So I was able to like push on through it, but it was definitely like a really tough mental battle for sure. So I know what you mean. But I think the hardest I've ever worked in my entire life physically was when we had to do a 2-mile hike, where we took our canoes from like out of the water, and we walked all the way to like the next part of the water. I forget what it's called. There's a specific terminology for it, but I forgot what it is off the top of my head. But I had to do that with a like 40-pound backpack on, and carrying an entire canoe above my head, shoulders like holding it up, and it was like resting on like the right where your shoulder meets your neck. And you had to do that for 2 miles, and you can barely see because you're trying to like balance this canoe on top of you.
Yeah.
And it was rough while also having a backpack. So it's like your hands are constantly balancing this canoe on top of your head. And the canoe is like 40 pounds. And you're like trying to maneuver around tight little corners as well. And like just trying not to fall over. It was probably the hardest I've ever worked.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes you would crash into your friends as well, because you can't see where you're going. And whenever that would happen, it would feel awful, because you're trying not to fall over. You have to regain your balance. It's like so much weight is like just flying around everywhere. and it was a 2 mile like just awful experience. But after it was done, it felt so good because it's like, wow, we actually made it through that. But it was definitely rough for sure. I just reminded me of that, and I still think like the hardest I've ever worked physically was that moment right then, and just like the endurance and just every step was like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Because that's all you could think about was just, can this be over? Because it was so bad. That's all I thought about, dude. It was really rough.
Yeah. So one thing like I'd be worried about, and since you're in a canoe, I find that canoes are so much more tippy than kayaks. So
for sure, yeah. No,
did you ever like with all your stuff? Did you ever drop it in the water?
Yeah, we capsized a few times. There were some parts where there are like lots of rapids that would make us fall over. I actually broke one of my cameras this way. It was a really old camera because I had actually had 3 different cameras on this trip. One of them was my personal camera. One was a really, really old camera that I used to have that broke during the trip, and then one was provided to me by the people so I could be the official cameraman. That was waterproof, which is cool. But I actually broke that camera. It was really bad though. It was like a really, really old one, so I didn't really care, but it broke because it capsized, and obviously water damage killed it. But the rest of my cameras or the other camera, I guess, was water sealed. But we capsized a couple of times, because if you messed up like one time in a canoe, like if you like hold your paddle in the water and you're going down like a rapid and you just get like a slight turn, not if it hits something, but the water pushes it a little bit too much, you're capsizing like pretty much instantly. Like it's really tough with canoes. But yeah,
so it's really unstable.
Yeah, canoes are much better for like group things. It was a group thing because we only had 3 canoes and we had 8 people. But we also had these big backpacks that we had to like take along with us because it had all our food in it and whatnot. Because we were living off of just canoes and whatever was in the canoe. That was it for like a week. It's pretty fun. But it was also like a lot of tough work as well. And whenever stuff would capsize, it sucked because then we'd have to air dry it off later. But it was rough, but I do much prefer kayaking. It's so much easier. It's like you're so much speedier. You're the only one in control, whereas a canoe is like you have to work with somebody else. It's bigger, it's bulkier, it's not as fun, it's not as fast. Kayaking, in my opinion, is just 1,000 times better than canoeing.
The main difference between a kayak and a canoe, how I see it, is the center of gravity, right? So with a canoe, you have to sit up kind of on benches that are elevated much higher off the water, so your effective like weight is much higher up, meaning that it's much easier to tip. Like with a kayak, you're practically sitting in the water. Like where your butt sits is basically at water level, if not lower.
And so it's in the center of it, whereas the canoe, you're at the front and the back. There's like nothing in the middle usually. Yeah,
kayaks are so stable in comparison. So I guess I can finish my story. What it was is like, so throughout the night after like I remember when the sun came up, I just remember like the second I noticed it was getting brighter, I'm like, because I had my phone next to me, but I just was not going to touch it ever because I never wanted to see the time, because if I saw the time, then I would go crazy, right? So I just like tried to sleep as much as I can, and eventually the sun started rising, and it was like, oh my God, like the morning is coming, like something's going to change, right? Eventually, the big thing that happened is obviously my arms started hurting like crazy, like before dinner, or like after dinner, and that was like 9 p.m., and I couldn't like move them after that. So my arms were effectively locked for almost 12 hours straight. And when you can't move your arms at all, you can't use the restroom. So like that was my big dilemma for like hours on end. Was like the extremely bad like bladder pain, because I really had to go, but I couldn't go because I couldn't set up, right? Eventually someone woke up and I got their attention. They opened the tent for me and I was able to like sit up and run out. And I did notice like it was like significantly, it was not significantly, but it was less pain. It still hurt like absolute crazy. So I take some pain meds and I sat up. So like I remember I was talking about the whole like shoulder support thing. My arms felt a lot naturally better that way. And I was able to fall asleep kind of sitting up for like 20-ish minutes. Eventually we waited for we're waiting for the camping store to open. And eventually it opened at like 9 a.m. And one of my friends ran over there and there was no Icy Hot. So then she drove me to a Rite Aid, which is like a pharmacy place, like a CVS, Walgreens. And we got Icy Hot there. And on the trip there, like me getting up after I took that, and I had like a little bit of breakfast, and I had like a full 12 hours where I didn't move my arms. It finally, like, my arms, like I remember like on the way there, they started to like unbend a little bit without being excruciating pain. And I went to like the restroom in there, and I remember like even before I even put on like the icy hot stuff, like I could. The fact of the matter is, my arms like were like it was at that point. It was like almost normal muscle pain, right? Like it wasn't like this excruciating, like I'm gonna vomit or like feel like I'm gonna die if I move my arms sort of pain. It was just like really bad, like it's just a bad dull pain at that point. And I was like, oh my god, I could like. I remember like I never had like such a great sense of relief. Where like I remember I was sitting in the bathroom and I was just unstretching and stretching my arms because like when the 12 hours, man, I was.
It was all locked
insane.
up, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it must have been really stiff.
I woke up like when I was trying to sleep. When I woke up like and I couldn't move them, I remember like my arms were covered by a blanket and I felt like I was almost trapped in like a straitjacket or like a coffin. And I I almost had like a panic attack because I'm like I don't know how long my arms are gonna be like this. Like I can't go on. Like I don't know how much longer I can just take like this little bit. It's like it was just so bad.
No, I've had nights like that. They're so bad.
I've never had that bad muscle pains in my entire life. And it's from going so extremely hard. But hey, I mean, after 2 days, it fully went away, and my arms feel totally fine now. And now maybe I'm a little bit stronger. I don't know. All the muscles are going to degrade.
Yeah, you definitely have got to be. I think it's just I imagine like you didn't stretch much beforehand, which definitely probably should have helped. And also, doing like lots of physical intensive work for a long period of time without a proper like rest recovery period is really bad for you. Because it actually damages as opposed to strengthens your muscles if you just go all out like after no like practice or build up to it.
Yeah, you'll strain yourself.
That's exactly what happened. I only use my legs. Like I have a stand-up desk. I go to amusement parks. Like hikes are no issue at all. And plus like all the sports and stuff you see are like leg based. But I haven't probably done an upper body workout in like 5-6 years at all, like ever, like a good one. And that was, I mean, that just was like so much more intense than my upper body, my arms have ever seen in the last like 5-6 years. So it was horrible. I don't regret it though. It was still a really cool experience.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely always worth it. I had like another similar experience with another Boy Scouting high adventure thing where I went out to New Mexico, and this is another thing that I didn't train out for. It was a event called Rayado, which was like a 3-week trip where you're out in the wilderness for like 3 weeks, and it was pretty tough because you have to acclimate to like a different altitude. So there's not as much oxygen in the air, which makes things really tough. You start breathing really heavily. But I didn't practice for the trip like at all, and there were going to be like really, really long hikes every single day. And I'm decently good at like keeping my stamina, but of the people that went, I was the slowest one there because I didn't practice at all. And this was my like third time out there before. Like my first time I was actually the fastest because I had actually practiced, but the third time I went out there, I think I was like 18 or 19. I didn't practice at all. I wasn't physically active for like a whole year, and it was rough, dude. It was like the first week was definitely extremely hard because I was basically training while I was already there, while everybody else was already prepared for it. Because it's basically the hardest thing there. I basically picked hard mode without knowing anything about what it was, is how you could consider it. It was like I was playing on the hardest difficulty and did not practice at all, or whatever. That's literally what it was. And it was a tough experience, but it was like really, really rewarding after it. And I think like experiences that really are difficult and challenging and sometimes unprepared for are the ones that you'll grow most out of. And I think like that experience was just absolutely legendary for me, and I'd love to go into more detail into it one day.
Yeah, definitely.
We need to camp sometime, Zeez. It's been too long since you've camped.
Can really
I join you guys whenever you guys do that if I'm around?
Emmy, you need to fly all the way across the country so you can camp in a really crappy state park.
Yes, I will do that. I will fly all the way across the country to do that. Or you could come here.
Worth it.
Yeah, where you have like beautiful mountains and like the ocean and multiple national parks near you.
I would love to camp near the ocean. I've never actually got to do that. Well, that's a lie.
So this one was the first time I camped near a lake, because Ludington State Park's along Lake Michigan. Very cool to be so close to the water, like while camping. Sand everywhere though. You will be covered in sand all the time, constantly. All your shoes, everything.
Yeah.
The campground full of sand, everything full of sand.
And whenever it's like the summer, there's going to be a lot of bugs.
Oh yeah,
That's
definitely.
Near water.
Because there's so much water.
It wasn't too bad at all, actually. In fact, I never even got eaten up. so it wasn't too bad.
It does
was there a
depend on
lot
your
of
blood
wind?
type.
Yeah, there's
there a lot of
there's a
wind?
bit of wind. Bugs also are really dependent on like moving water, right? Like especially mosquitoes. You're not gonna have a mosquito issue like next to a river because it's moving water.
Yeah,
They have
that's
to-
true.
They
You
have
have
to,
to
like,
have standing water.
yeah, they have to have still water to put those eggs on. Speaking of like like the Great Lakes and bugs, one of the craziest bug experiences ever is on the way up to Cedar Point
Bug
this
moment.
year. Was on my way up to Cedar Point
Bugs.
this year.
Bug moment.
Uh,
Bug moment.
I've never seen so many mayflies in my entire life. You ever heard of mayflies?
Yeah.
Holy crap, dude!
Perhaps.
I stayed with my girlfriend in a place called like Port Clinton, and they were like clouds. Like you couldn't even see through them sometimes. Her
Oh my
car,
gosh.
I couldn't like literally like you would have to wash it multiple times to get them all off. I can't even look. I should have. I don't know if I have videos of how many bugs there were. I've never seen so many bugs in my entire life. It was quite extremely. I was just insane to see that happening in real life. Another thing with Cedar Point, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever have the blessedness of having a night ride on some of their amazing coasters, don't ride in the front row. That's the only suggestion.
Bug moment. Bug moment.
Yeah, bug moment is the whole park. You will get covered in bugs, and I have been covered in bugs. It sucked.
Yeah, getting hit by a very fast speeding bug does not feel good because it feels like somebody flicks you in the face really hard.
Yeah.
No, it felt similarly like to when I rode like rides in the rain. It feels like raindrops. But bigger bugs like feel like splatters, like you're hit by almost small water balloons,
Yeah.
which is very gross.
Yeah. I know it's so nasty, bro.
And it happens on your face, you're almost on your mouth. It's
That's a bug
not fun.
moment, bro. That is actually a bug moment and a half.
All right, I'll be sure to bring some goggles.
Nah, dude, I think probably one of the most annoying things just like throughout years of camping is when bugs get close to your ear. I hate that, bro.
Oh my
it
gosh,
makes me
dude.
so
Oh,
angry.
yeah.
It's actually one of the things that probably frustrates me the most, like because I'm not a person who gets like really, really mad really, really fast. But put a bug next to my ear and I am like, perish. It's so annoying, bro.
We had that issue recently camping, but it was with wasps, so I didn't smack them.
Oh, that's fair. No, mosquitoes
Dude,
you
they
can just
tried
go
going in
crazy
my
with.
freaking mouth. It was gross.
Oh. Well, wasps probably have like a low buzzing sound. The mosquitoes have like those high pitched, like
Yeah.
Those are. I think they're both bad, but I think the high pitched ones are definitely much worse.
Yeah, definitely.
That was a bug moment, bro. That was actually such a bug moment.
The bug cast?
Bug
Bug?
cast.
Yeah. I'm only talking about bugs, bro. Speaking about the podcast, though, I think this is probably a good spot to end it, unless we have any more topics.
Is this your longest one yet?
Maybe.
It's 2:08 on my counter.
Well, we have
I
2
think-
minutes of pre-prep there.
Yeah, we had a
Still
few
over
minutes
2
of
hours.
pre-prep, and who knows? I can take. We can just like talk about literally nothing just to make this the longest one.
Yeah, no, add a sponsor reel. Add a sponsor reel right now.
Oh, yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Sharpie. Okay, actually, no. I think we're about around where it is. I think we definitely passed it because the longest podcast is probably it says 2 hours 1 minute 39 seconds. We definitely passed that. Guaranteed.
Oh yeah, we're definitely past that.
Let's
We don't even
go.
need the sponsor. All right, we don't need you Sharpie or Blue Apron or Expo markers.
Yeah, I guess that's a good spot to end it. We sure talked about a whole lot of stuff. I'm surprised we got
Yeah,
through it all.
definitely.
There was a lot to talk about, but I guess it was 2
Yeah.
hours, so
I mean, we
That
had
makes
2
sense.
people this time, so
it happens. We could have had freaking 4, but no, the little rookie. Ooh, I don't want to be on the podcast.
his
I gotta
name is
go.
not the little rookie. His name is Nano Novice.
I'm Nano Novice, and I like to do things on my own time.
I'm Nano Novice, and I want to be a hero.
I have to go eat carrots out of a plastic bag.
Now
doesn't
you're
make
gonna
any
want to join
sense.
in because we're bullying him too much.
Okay, listen.
We're
If he's
not
made it
bullying
this
when he's
far,
here.
listen. Infidels Refreshing, if you made it this far, you're my best friend. Okay, you're awesome. We just like making
we
fun of you
only
because
make
you're a
fun of
friend.
you because
We
we want
only
you
make
on the
fun of you
podcast,
because
which
you're
is
our
kind
friend.
Yeah, we're
Not
only
helping.
making fun of you because we care about you. We love you. Little rookie. Sorry.
I have some quick closing comments.
All right,
I
go
want to
for it.
make a quick apology to Emmy and the other Zeez VS The PNGtuber fans for implying that maybe they're out of shape. which isn't true. We just talked about being introverted. When I think of like introverted people, I think about people who don't work out necessarily.
I'm introverted. I also work out just by
I
myself.
didn't know how much you ran. That's actually like super surprising. Although I know you did run. I know you do run.
Well, so after my 10K, so I ran a 10K a while ago.
Wow. Oh my god.
I was training for that. After that, I just kept up with my running to make sure I didn't go out of shape. So
I guess I never talked to you about fitness. It's crazy.
Well, I don't talk to other people about fitness because I'm an introvert.
Got it. All comes back around to that.
I'd also like to thank people for interacting on the subreddit there.
Yeah, good job, everyone. Let's go, Zeez fans.
For sure. Keep uploading more posts. We'll check them out on the next one, probably. Who knows? And also, if you made it this far, since it's basically the end, all the real ones, comment muffin.
Luna Pavis Solchrist will be there.
Alright, guys. I think that's a good spot to end it off on. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
We do appreciate it, as always. We'll be back next week, same time, with more fun topics to discuss. So we'll see you all then. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.